Bryce, I hope you brought your noodles to the party because we got a saucy RageSelect podcast for you this week.
Good. Okay,
I brought a lot of sauce. Lots of sauce.
You asked for a lot of noodles, and I thought maybe I should have some sauce. But you're bringing the sauce, which is part with, and then now it's gonna be like peanut butter and sauce.
That's right. Peanut butter and sauce. Two great tastes. Taste great together.
Tastes great together.
Welcome back, everybody, to that RageSelect podcast. Here at RageSelect, I'm Jeff.
Hi, I'm Bryce.
Boy, Bryce, we got a lot of news this week. I feel like the podcast is now swinging between like there was a state of play and here's a bunch of new stuff you haven't heard about, and then here's 8 horror show corporate stories in a row of bad shit happening. So,
I feel like I've played a lot of games in the past couple of years, but the past few years have been bad for like gaming at large, especially for like corporate gaming. But I bought a lot of games last year. I play a lot of games last year. I'm a big time gamer. I just don't buy a lot of $60 and $70 games.
You're the perfect market cross section. Apparently, apparently not a lot of people are buying those $70 games. But before we get into what that means for everybody. Did you watch anything? Play anything? You do anything you wanna throw out there to the people?
I want to talk about a game that that I just started playing today. Even I got a couple of hours in it today. It just came out of early access to 1.0. It's Konfronto with a K. It's an auto battler set in space, kind of like a backpack hero, if you think about that, where you buy different ships and tools and generators, and you will put them into your grid of a ship, and your different pieces can interact with other pieces around them, and you synergize. And then there are different factions in the game, so different factions they'll synergize with themselves. And it's got a lot of science fiction references, very oblique characters that are there's just Worf's in it. There's just a Worf icon in it. But I've played a lot of these auto battler type games, these inventory based auto battler games, and I have enjoyed this one so far for its simplicity. I'm a little worried that because it's in 1.0 that they will keep updating it and making it more complex. But I've so far liked it where it is now, and it's kind of like any of these other auto battlers where you tend to play against other players' creations, but you're doing it asynchronously.
Okay.
So it's not like you're actually having a real-time battle or anything. But a kind of neat one that just came out, and I think is cool. Is worth a look, especially if you're into science fiction. It's they got Worf in it.
I've seen a lot. I feel like the top-down build a spaceship out of squares genre has been getting a lot of entries recently in a variety of different things. I think there was another game that came out a little while back that was more of like a real-time space battle type of thing.
For sure.
Having it as auto battler though, that's interesting, and I do like the art style that they've got here. It's very, very colorful, very singular.
And I like the way that they present the battles where like time will sort of progress and then it'll stop, and the ship that's taking an action will fly out into the middle of your two ships, and it will shoot off, and the numbers will pop off, and it'll shoot back down, and then time will resume again, which is a little slow, but also you can turn that off and you can speed it up once you are like start to understand what pieces are, because it's kind of a lot. It can kind of be a lot going on at once.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
You can kind of have a lot of different synergies and things popping off at once. But I dig it for these types of games. I think this one's got a nice bit of polish. The music's pretty good. It's kind of got a rockin' little science fiction sort of space cool that kind of stuff.
All right. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. How did you find this? I guess that's my real question is because stuff gets buried on Steam, and I'm generally not willing to sort through the mountain of pornography and low effort Unreal Engine 5 flips anymore. I'm like, what's on the main page and what's on my thing that's like coming soon from Game Informer? I'm like, yeah, tell me Game Informer. Like, I really like the new calendar thing that they put on Steam.
Oh, I don't know about the calendar. I had wish listed this a while ago, so I had kind of had an eye on it, and then I saw in my email that it had come out of early access, and so I pulled the trigger. And I think because I had been looking at other similar types of games, like the Bazaar. I think I played the Backpack Hero demos for a little while. And so I thought this was worth trying. It's not too expensive. It's like what, $12, $15, something like that.
Oh yeah, if that.
So yeah, Konfronto,
Okay.
which I think
Konfronto.
is Esperanto.
I have no idea. But I do feel like we're like 3 steps away from a Cornholio joke. I'm just not entirely sure how to get there. Well, Bryce, last
What
week
about you?
I fell down the K drama hole on Netflix. I was like,
big hole.
I'm going to look for one of these high rated Korean shows and I'll watch one episode. I'm sure it won't be for me. And then 16 hours later, I was like, what about the other ones that they were recommending? So I watched a show. I think it's from 2023 called The Glory, 2022. And it's a great show. It's basically like there's a young girl, and when she's in high school, she is bullied bullied like we don't get bullying in America. Like they burn her arms with curling irons until she has these huge ass scars all up and down. They burn her legs with like actual irons. They like kick the crap out of her every day, and then she tries to go to the principal, and the principal's like, "You're making me look bad. Shut the fuck up." And then they. Basically, she gets thrown out on the street, out of her parents' house, and is completely alone, and is about to die, and decides,
And her dog explodes. And...
right, and decides that she's going to come back in 20 years and get her revenge on the bullies that bullied her in high school. And
okay, all right. Well, that's something. I feel like yeah. I mean, that's we've got it's okay. Yeah. So. Some of these K-dramas are impossibly long. Is this one impossibly long?
This one is 16 one-hour episodes, and then that's it. Like, it doesn't have...
And that's it. Okay.
Well,
that's
it's not like there's a season 2 on the horizon. Or at least I don't think so. I think that was just the end of the story. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you made it not a lot of filler? Like because I've seen some of these shows, and some of them are like, they make like a Saturday and a Sunday episode, and it's like we don't really need the Saturday.
No, I mean, as long as you got the stomach for the stuff at the beginning where some kids are getting horribly bullied, like it gets going pretty quick. The only thing that I learned, and it's weird, I was like, I have a hard time in K-dramas keeping everybody's name straight. And I think I've seen like enough Japanese media that like I can internalize Junko and Juno and Jutsu and Junfo and keep all of them straight right away. But some of the K names, I have a little bit of a harder time because they were like, "Oh no, it's Ye Sung," and I was like, "Wait, who was that again? Was that the dad or was that the guy from the convenience store?" Yeah. And I mean, eventually it was fine. It all made sense. By the end of it, I was totally on board with it. But no, it was really good. I think it was a big thing when it came out. When the second part came out, it was like the top of Netflix's charts for a little while.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, basically it's just pure unadulterated Schadenfreude, right? A wronged person coming back and getting revenge on their high school bullies. Oh boy, I'll watch that all day, every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a feel-good story, Like Carrie. It's like Carrie.
Yeah, it's like Carrie, a feel-good story. No, but it was.
So
it
then,
was good.
what are you going to go for next? Another thriller like this, or are you going to go for like more of like there's like some supernatural stuff out there, or something like romantic?
So I looked a lot at first off, I'm not sure if I'm ready to commit to a whole nother one of these because of the length of them, but I did see there's an anime that I watch, anime series that I watch called Parasite, the Maxim.
Oh, I think I read some of the manga of that. The one where he's got the alien hand.
Got the eyeballs coming out of his hand. They made a Korean adaptation, like a live action adaptation of it, and it's got incredibly high scores. So it's called Parasite the Gray, and it's live action. It's on Netflix. It looks like they're doing a lot of the kind of body horror kind of like similar stuff from the Parasite the Maxim.
Yeah, because that had great flesh splitting open and tentacles and her face cut in half, but there's crazy tentacles and stuff.
Real John Carpenter, The Thing kind of stuff.
Flesh blades.
Yep.
You know.
And so I remember when I watched the first trailer for this, I was like, oh, that's cool. Every live action adaptation of anime is trash, and I'm not interested in any of them. But then I'm looking through like the top rated K dramas on Netflix, or the K fiction on Netflix, and this one's got like impeccably high scores. So there's that one, and then there's another one that's called what's it called? It's called the something paradox. It's called a killer paradox.
Paradox.
I don't exactly know what it is, but it also got high. A lot of these are like, this is a great show, but I don't want to tell you anything. You got to trust me, bro. And I'm like, I don't trust you, bro. You got to tell me more than that.
Yeah.
This one apparently has something to do with like a kid that's in college and he's bored, and through a weird series of events, becomes a serial killer that hunts serial killers, kind of a Korean Dexter, except he's just like doing it because he's bored, not because he's like a sociopath.
Dexter seemed pretty bored, but okay.
That's true. So I don't know. I might be going down a whole rabbit hole here. I might be spending my afternoons watching the K dramas, but
okay, well, if this one's good, I'll watch this, because this sounds exciting. I don't really care about Carrie too much, but I would watch the Killer Paradox.
I was watching. Me and Amanda were recording, and I was telling her about Subway. Apparently, there's a lot of K-dramas that have like a scene in a subway in Korea.
Oh, yeah.
And so we watched this supercut online of a whole bunch of K-drama scenes in a subway. And there was one at the end that was like the most impeccably dressed man in a business suit I've ever seen, with like a coat over his shoulders, sitting in the corner of a subway, just like mogging this woman, just like fucking like eyes on, just staring, and then dramatically eating a Subway sandwich at her. I've never seen someone eat a sandwich at somebody else as hard as this guy. And so then we went and looked at and it turns out that the woman was there to like hit on the guy in the subway, and then he was like, oh, you're like an auntie to me, and then he's like a coworker that saw her, and I was like, we're gonna get into the dramas, man. They seem like they're pretty savage with the romance, with the enemies to lovers romance on the Korean stuff. So anyway,
I'm glad you're having fun, Jeff.
Yep.
I'm glad you're having fun with that one. We're talking about both types of Subways. I can't go back and re-legislate.
No, Subway sandwiches. All right.
What about news? Can we do something substantial? Give me some news.
Let's go to a different green themed corporation.
Oh, Jesus, it's this week.
Yep. So yeah, right after I got done recording the podcast last week, it was announced on Friday, big shakeups over in Xbox. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond have both left the company. Matt Booty is being promoted to Chief Content Officer, and then we've got a new CEO of Xbox, Asha Sharma. Asha Sharma. I've been reading it all day, but I haven't said it out loud yet.
Yeah.
So few different things.
This will be good, right?
Well, okay. I don't know. That's a good question, because the first question that I had was like, there are a lot of red flags here, but Xbox has been garbage for like a decade now, that I'm kind of curious to know how much worse it could get with the way that they've been pushing Game Pass and like dissolving studios, and that the stuff that's come out has been kind of so the first question is, who is Asha Sharma? Asha Sharma. Asha Sharma comes from this Xbox AI division. I had a hard time. It seems like I had a hard time figuring out what it was, because it's a relatively new division, and it seems like it was built to really try to integrate a few different pieces of the Xbox or Microsoft's AI tools together into like a professional workflow that companies could buy from them, as opposed to just kind of, here's a chatbot, there's a chatbot.
Okay. Yeah.
They came out and said basically that it was funny. They put out a statement. The new CEO put out a statement saying that like they don't want any slop, any AI slop in the Xbox brand, that they want to avoid that. They want to keep, they want to kind of go back to basics and blah, 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 blah. It's basically all the right things. At this point, this is a professional from Microsoft that knows how to say all the right things in an interview and is saying the right things. Now, whether that actually ends up being what happens or not, I mean, we've seen Xbox people saying really nice things right before horrible crap happens. But I tell you what, before we go any further, have you been following this? Do you have any initial thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've seen this, and this is tough because this is such a big move, and the ramifications of it are going to take a long time to actually appear, in games and what we see in the games out of these studios. Phil Spencer's been around for a long time. Obviously, a very charismatic, very personable executive, someone who's kind of tried to be both a leader and a spokesperson a lot of times, and has generally been pretty straightforward and a straight shooter. And so I also think that Xbox has been felt not its strongest the past few years. And maybe that's Phil Spencer. Maybe that's not Phil Spencer. Now we're going to see if it's Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
Because for a long time it hasn't been him. And I'm not going to say that what any problem in this landscape needs is more corporate notes. But he's been around for a long time, and maybe it's time for a change of pace. And if that means using AI behind the scenes or what, who knows? Certainly, it's not going to go away completely, the use of AI. And eventually will probably be less of a hot button issue. They should just give an entropy in time. But
yeah.
It's really tough to see. It's not great to see Xbox kind of constrict. It just feels like a constriction of Xbox between the layoffs that happen at Microsoft and Xbox seemingly every 6 months.
Right. And the kind of them contributing to the overall closure of studios. We've seen a whole bunch of that over the last few years, and they kind of gutted out Tango GameWorks and canceled a few things with Arcane, a few other places. So
and maybe you would think the answer would be have someone come in and clean house and try to start from base principles and make good games and products, and I think anyone who steps into that role is going to be trying to do that completely earnestly. I don't think that she's a grim reaper coming to extract all of your green dollars out of your wallet, listener. I think she also wants to see Xbox succeed.
Yeah.
Even if her immediate work history is more AI related, whatnot. Xbox is a big company.
Yeah,
there's a lot of management layers. So
I mean, it's not like every game company is run by some kind of hardcore gamer, right? There are a lot of corporate types that are at the helm for companies that make games that we really like and enjoy and play all the time. So just because, everybody, I think there was kind of the exact thing that you just laid out there. There was a lot of people that's well, this is the end of Xbox, right? They brought in the AI lady and she's just going to start closing up the doors, shuttering all the franchises. And I'm like, dude, they spent $69 billion on Activision. No, costs will be recouped one way or another. And you can't recoup those costs just by closing the place down or anything.
Right.
There's kind of been this question recently of people found her gamer tag and they were looking, and apparently she's been playing a lot of games over the last 40 days, and there wasn't really very much before that. And it's well, yeah, I mean, this this person probably was working on other stuff, and when they were put in charge of Xbox, they were like, okay, let me play some Xbox, and they played Halo, they played Ball Pit, they played What Remains of Edith Finch, and like Phil Spencer has a bigger gamer tag number, but by the same token, I don't know, I don't dislike Phil Spencer, but I've been watching Microsoft flail around with this position in the industry and this suite of titles, and it's just like they have no idea what to do with them, and they feel like they keep changing directions every other year, where it's like, oh, now it's everything is an Xbox, oh, now it's Game Pass, well, now it's cloud gaming, now it's AI, now it's
which is a symptom of a corporate structure, right? Like you think about like the tales of people who are in Google, and it is very much like about driving your career inside the management structure. You want to be on the right projects and in the right place. I'm sure there's some amount of that happening in Microsoft, and some amount of that is going to bleed into Xbox, because there's going to be connections and ties there. So it's a real show. The last episode I was on, we did the Xbox showcase, and that Double Fine game has really stuck with me. The one where you
Kiln,
where you make a clay piece, a vessel or a vase or what have you, and then you play a 4v4 party MOBA bullshit game, and it I'm still just like really sad about that. And just think about that. It makes me really sad to see like a lot of creativity and executional skill churned and squeezed through this corporate machine to try to make something wacky or something out of left field.
Yeah.
But within all of the right, four quarters of a lettered page. Like it's really strange. It
is. I mean, it's very it's unclear. Like when we talked about that, really just stuck in your craw. But like, it's unclear whether, of course, Double Fine is like, oh, we had this great idea and we thought it'd be fun, a thing to play with your friends. And who knows if behind the scenes, Phil Spencer was like, make a multiplayer game. I don't care what it is, but you got to make a multiplayer game where we can charge people for skins eventually, where we can get people in our ecosystem playing the game and we can make some money off of it. Even though, I mean, 2 years ago was when this downfall started of the live service thing, when Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, fizzled out like with the highest profile, Rocksteady, the team, and the DC Comics, and it just did nothing. And then we've been watching this whole sector crumble as everybody still tries to hang on to what's left and get that market share. So I don't know. Again, it's like what I said when Microsoft was making all these acquisitions was, there's really two worlds, right? There's the world where you're under the umbrella of a $3 trillion corporation and you don't feel the need to crank out, 33% profit every single quarter, even though that's what they're asking for now. But then there's also the side where the management is like, we spent $69 billion on Activision. You got to fucking make the money. I don't care how you make the money. Skin all the sheep, skin them all. Put out Skyrim on phones,
and like. What is maybe this question would require more research than we have time for, but like, what is the last like big budget success in video games? I can think of so many like low cost indie games that have granted had a lower bar to hit, but have managed to like find success relatively quickly on small budgets with creativity, with a lot of propriety, doing it for themselves.
Does Expedition 33 count? I mean, that was a little bit cheaper on launch. It wasn't a full $60 title.
It was a $50 game. Okay, this game of the year.
Baldur's Gate was full price, and that everybody wouldn't shut up about that the year it came out. I think that there's been stuff out there. Yeah. I think that we're seeing less of the games that are doing well are not the franchises that we would expect. It's not Halo. It's not Gears of War. It's smaller franchises that are doing strange new things that are capturing audience attention.
Because there's just as much instability, maybe slightly less, in the other like annual corporate gaming, right? Of your EAs and Ubisoft. I mean, we just talked about Ubisoft going through their whole reshuffling with their creative houses and whatnot.
They're not even done.
And yeah, they're not even done with that. And then, EA has their like tentpole series, but like, what is the future of EA? Are you going to keep making Madden every year? How long? Fingers crossed that golden goose keeps laying eggs, because at some point you're not going to get people to buy Madden. Then what's your next thing? And then are you able to build another tentpole franchise that carries you with the same weight and longevity as a FIFA, as a Madden, as a 2K? Because on the Microsoft side, like outside of them, the people who are maintaining these franchises that are already there, like Microsoft is having a real tough time actually maintaining these franchises, right? Like you just had Outer Worlds 2 kind of fizzle on launch.
Yep.
And
I mean, it wasn't like a total failure, but not enough to greenlight a sequel. Right.
Enough where they basically said, we won't get a sequel.
Right.
And so what does that say for the management here? Like, we have incredibly talented teams who have management systems that do not have great track records for being able to pick the best ideas and very efficiently use their resources to create wonderful experiences for the market.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting, especially with Microsoft more than anybody else, because I feel like Microsoft is the company that you can point to. I mean, like, I think that Sony and Nintendo, this might have happened a little bit to a couple of franchises, but it seems like over the last decade that Xbox in particular has pissed away the goodwill of the Halo franchise, of the Gears franchise, of, in a lot of ways, the Forza franchise. We've been waiting for a new Fable game that's been hanging around in their stable for a long time. Like, so. And
Fable's an old franchise. Fable's not even like a really new. It's not Microsoft. Microsoft didn't fucking make it.
Yep. So Bethesda with Starfield. Like, I still can't believe that none of us. I mean, Bethesda used to be a juggernaut, and then they put this game out, and nobody gives a shit. And it doesn't even seem like they're going to fix it. It seems like they're just going to move on to whatever the next thing is. So I don't know. I mean, it feels like there needs to be either more or less control. The problem is I don't really know what's going on internally, right? There is a world where you give developers a certain amount of latitude to be able to fuck around for 2 years and find the coolest thing and then put it out. But then there's also a point where they say, we're making a multiplayer game about pots, and you say, fuck that, go make Psychonauts 3, god damn it, that will sell, and this will not. Right. So I don't really know. And that's again, like I was saying before.
But then but what if we tried that?
Yeah.
What if we tried using your evil corporate power to push the will of populism?
Spend that $3 trillion and hire some people with a really good reputation for cranking games out and putting stuff out with a good result, and put them in charge, and don't let people faff around with 3 years of Halo skunk works just to
Who
get
would it be?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the problem is here, we don't really know because people don't keep as much track of like game development leads, right?
Directors.
How often do you see something that's like, oh, this studio in Austin is making a new game with talent that was involved with making Fallout 3 and Overwatch, and you're like, yeah, but I don't know any of their names. But I don't know. I mean, the thing is that I think that they need somebody I think they just need to pick a direction. No matter what they do, they need to pick a direction. They need to go with it. And it probably doesn't need to be cloud games, and it probably doesn't need to be Game Pass as much. It probably needs to be like, you've got hardware that has been all over the place. You've got Game Pass that's all over the place. You've got live service that's all over the place. What you don't have is titles that people want to buy an Xbox for. You don't have a Halo that everybody's playing and all your friends are playing. And I got to get an Xbox to play that new Halo game that came out.
And it's going to be really tough to sell people consoles. I mean, we'll talk about it, but it's going to be really tough to sell people consoles the next few years. It's going to be tough to push money into R&D into consoles in the next few years.
Yep.
And I won't be surprised if the next generation of consoles look much more like PCs.
Yeah.
I mean, we've in this talk of like the kind of unfolding of Xbox. I think I've posed this before on this show, but like, what if they stop using the Xbox OS? What if Xbox is just actually becomes a part of Windows and they actually just merge them together and they actually have to deal with the millions of contract problems that will create. But like, I feel like you should just do that. Would be the like big dumb move instead of the like very quiet dumb move that they will probably make of like, we're gonna shrink our teams and we're gonna think about budget cuts really, really hard, instead of like actually making a decision. They're just going to kind of keep faffing around and like trying to interfere with creative, but like not, but like kind of, but not.
Yeah. I mean, I can never forget the, what was it? Was it Elder Scrolls Online team, or there was some team that had presented this like prototype to Phil Spencer. There was this report where during the meeting where they were explaining it to him, he wouldn't stop playing the game, and then that team got dissolved and that game got just thrown onto the ash heap with everything else. It's like you had a fun game. You had something that the CEO of the game division loved in a meeting. Like I don't know. It seems like it seems like there's a midpoint, that there are two. They have two modes. Let them do whatever forever and don't ever check in on it and get Starfield, or I'm going to micromanage this because we need a 30% return on investment tomorrow, and you've got 6 months to put it out, and then you get Redfall. And it's like, yeah. You need something in the middle where you need to check in earlier to find whether you're going in the right direction, and you need enough people with good enough sense to be able to do it. But you also need executives that are able to push it out over the finish line, because we all know the story of BioShock Infinite, how it was fucking a decade for what was like, an okay game, but like they threw away 2.5 games worth of assets during the development of that. You say that's just untenable. So
yeah, and hey, we never got that spiritual sequel either, buddy.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think with Xbox's history, when you have the studios that make smaller games, like we've been talking about Double Fine, and they've kind of been going through their corporatization, but you also have a long history of Rare.
Yep.
How long was Rare spent making Kinect games? Like, I'm sure people played some of those crappy Kinect games. Congrats, you got a really firebrand prodigy of a developer to make them.
Yep.
Instead of letting them make what
perfect Dark remake that I was really excited for that got canned.
Like, what did you fucking buy these studios for if you're going to make them make Viva Pinata and Killer Instinct and some like real bronze metal stuff, man? Like,
I bet a new Viva Pinata would sell really well. I bet people would get really excited for a new Viva Pinata.
No, like, again, that's the quiet, slow losing. Like, there are better ideas out there, man. There are better ideas. We can't keep going back to Battletoads. We can't keep doing the Battletoads thing.
I think the easiest thing they could do, like right now, especially with the places that what's going on, is you own Obsidian and you own Bethesda, and nobody in the last 25 years will shut the fuck up about Fallout New Vegas. Make New Vegas 2. Loan 50 people from Bethesda out to Obsidian, write the script, do the thing, just do it the same way as Fallout 3, but with better, do it in the same engine, or not in the same engine, but do it in the updated engine and make it look good. Anyway, let's roll down a couple of these real quick. Sure. There was apparently an internal, this was from The Verge. There was an internal kind of document where a bunch of people had talked about saying that there's a kind of a story here that Sarah Bond was a lot of the reason for some of the recent Xbox problems, that the This Is an Xbox campaign was her brainchild, and that she had a group that was apparently tolerated no dissent, and it was kind of difficult to work with. Whether this is true or not is unclear. I don't know. I guess it's worth putting out there. But I can't, there's not a huge amount of confirmation, and I feel a little weird about being like, yeah, it's all that girl's fault. But
yeah, to me, This Is an Xbox campaign is like goofy, but I also see where it like checks a lot of boxes for Microsoft.
Sure.
You know, like that is the right campaign for what Microsoft would love people to think. Like, yes, that's their vision of the world, but that's not we haven't seen any like follow up to that campaign of like pushing cloud streaming in any new meaningful way, right? There's not a new policy or new announcements that go with this as an Xbox. It's just saying like we have remote play on a lot of stuff. Like remote play is like a fourth or fifth bullet point here. We make a new fucking Halo.
Yeah, which I would be interested to know even like what's the number of stream clients that you even have. So
you can do it on a new 2027 Samsung TV. Fuck you.
Yeah. This is a weird kind of offshoot that I ran across. Greg Miller basically said that the Phil Spencer retirement announcement was not planned, that IGN broke this on Friday and that it was supposed to actually happen on Monday. And there's other indications when I read through all of this that this whole thing seemed like it was a little rushed, like it all came together really quickly, as opposed to kind of having the very managed output of here's the statement and here's a podcast where everybody says nice things about each other, that it seemed like it was all kind of in a hurry. It seemed very sudden that it was just like bam and then we're done. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
I mean, it seems like we're going to see a lot of changes from above and outside of Xbox.
Yep.
Or at least we have seen those moves via these, placements.
The new CEO had said that there's kind of a return. The return of Xbox is something that they're saying. All this stuff sounds great. I read a big article where they talked to him a whole bunch about stuff. There was an interesting answer where they talked about kind of like the current strategy at Xbox. And one of their answers, one of the answers from Asha here was, quote, that's the, quote, I'm looking at lifetime value, not just what happened in a previous moment or in short-term efficiencies and things like that. The plan's the plan until it's not the plan, which I think is, if it's taken at face value, the indication here is that whatever is currently like the direction that they're going is up for change, that like this is not something that's set in stone, and that it sounds like this person is really there from the higher ups to get things moving in the right direction no matter what it takes.
I wonder just what that looks like, whether that means continuing to move to high end hardware, which is traditional core Xbox, or a move towards like middle of the road portable hardware a la a Steam Deck or a Switch 2, and try to shift to, those new game factors that people are drawn to. If they can put out a Windows Deck and get Steam to say, hey, if you have Steam Deck, beep boop bop, our thing will also take all of those perfect optimizations. Like, I don't know, but then like hardware and parts are gonna be so
expensive.
That like who would even when would these fucking things even come out?
I mean, there was part of this, I don't remember exactly where it is because I just read through a lot of this today, but like part of one of the statements was that there is apparently Xbox hardware that is like, both Sony and Xbox were, they were in the final stretch towards announcing something new. Now, whatever that is, it's unclear. But I think that part of this too is signaling to the Xbox fans that like, hey, it means something to be an Xbox fan, whereas previously it's like all these games are coming to the PS5. They're all on streaming. You can play them on your phone. There used to be more of a thing with other, with the Switch 2. I can't play Mario games anywhere but on my Switch 2. I couldn't for a long time play Spider-Man on anything but my PlayStation. And having Xbox be like, yeah, we're going to remake Halo 1 and put it out on the PS5. I don't agree with it, but there are a lot of Xbox fans that were not happy with this multi-platform move that you saw because they felt like they were invested in the ecosystem. That's not what I think, but
I mean, that is the reality of like of yes, the platform's failing. There's not enough of you fans to like you could make a stink, and also they needed more people to buy boxes and buy crates and horse armor.
Yep. So that's kind of it.
Man,
there's kind of it's kind of just we'll have to see how it goes. Again, it's like I don't personally dislike anybody at Microsoft, but I gotta say I've been banging this what the fuck is Xbox doing drum for about a decade now. Like, don't get me wrong, Bryce, I fucking love Game Pass. I get so many games on Game Pass that I would have to spend $60 on otherwise. Please don't take away my Game Pass. But I also understand that Game Pass has been awful for overall sales and adoption and stuff. Why would I ever purchase a game when I could just play it on Game Pass and then wait for it to leave or come back or whatever? So I don't know. I mean, it seems like something had to happen, and we'll see if this is any good moving forward. Like, I don't want to prejudge just because things are so crappy right now that I kind of feel like anything is a move in the right direction. So
I think a silver, if I can read some tea leaves on this though, like the timing on this you could look at the positioning in the timeline of this announcement such that they've done all of the bad stuff. Okay, a new
they figured out what didn't work.
They weighed all of the bad stuff ahead of this, right? And now, like, timing wise, there's a bit of a potential uptrend you could see in this new position, right? You have hardware that is presumably in mature development. You have presumably trimmed the fat in these game studios, and hey, they want games, let them make fucking games. You can be the good guy. Hey, fucking make games. I don't give a shit. Like, you have a chance to like start a new page in an advantageous way for the upcoming leadership. That I think is at least worth being context.
There was also some vague rumblings in here that I didn't think about that apparently, like, the Blizzard acquisition took a real toll on both Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond of this multi-year, government agencies, lawyers and wrangling and stuff, to the point where they might not have had enough time to think about what creatively matters because they're trying to navigate this, Microsoft in the UK had to give their cloud systems to Ubisoft, for God's sake. Like, that's a weird thing. So it's possible that
they fucking bought Blizzard during all of the sexual harassment stuff.
Yep.
And now they own Blizzard.
They
own that fiasco.
Yep.
So
maybe this is a good, bring in somebody fresh that's ready to just get started and do the thing. Or it could be horrible. I don't know.
Who knows?
You know what? We're almost out of time, but we can go through this one pretty fast because the other crazy ass thing that happened was Sony closed Blue Point Games.
Why? This doesn't make any fucking let them make games. Let them make their own games. Finish through.
Yep. So for people who don't know about Blue Point, they did the remake of Shadow of the Colossus. They did the remake of Demon Souls. That was great. I think actually you were on when we played that. Oh, yeah. And they did some more remakes back in the past. I think they did one of the God of War things back in the PS3 era. They were a good remake studio. They're here in Texas. And then apparently, as part of this, we're going to roll out 15 live services games by 2025. They had them making a God of War online live service game. Post Concord, they cut that and it was gone. And then apparently they just
shut it down.
They just shut it down. Like, Herman Holst had a thing talking about, it's a challenging industry environment, rising development costs, slow industry growth, changing player behavior, and a broader economic headwinds, blah, 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 blah. We got to continue adapting and evolving. Well, this decision was not made lightly. They're an incredibly talented team. Like, Blue Point was independent, Sony, like, contracted them, and then they bought them, and then they fucked them, and now they're fucked. Like, they didn't even do anything. I swear to God, you could have let that team remake Bloodborne any day of the week and everybody would have been happy. You could have put it on the PS5 and the PC. Everybody would have bought it. Everybody would have been happy with you about the fact that you could finally play Bloodborne somewhere outside of a fucking PS4. And it would have taken 2 years at maximum, and instead you just spiked these guys that, as near as I can tell, are just I never had a big I never saw any kind of big missteps on their part. They seemed like a good company doing good stuff.
It looks like I was concerned, like maybe like the Demon Souls not sell well, but I'm seeing that it sold, between 1.5 to 2, maybe 3 million copies, which is like pretty good, even for a pretty high budget remake.
Yeah.
Like you would think that would prove out some amount of value in doing. Why were they doing a God of War live service fucking game?
They were doing everything. They had a Horizon one. They had a Spider-Man one. They had a fucking Last of Us one. They saw that they had the cartoon dollar signs where their eyeballs were supposed to be. That you make a live service game and you make $1 billion a quarter, and it just like nobody was paying any attention to the fact that like this was getting to be it's like, why did all those people greenlight MMOs at the end of the MMO craze? And suddenly you had like 24 MMOs that came out to just wet fart thuds and nobody cared. Or the MOBAs.
And then all of the MMOs suffered during it. They all suffered because of it.
Yep. The MOBA stuff. I mean, there been a whole DC Heroes MOBA, Transformers MOBA. They greenlit every single MOBA under the sun. It's just that the video game industry is really bad at seeing what's coming, at looking at all these Circana market reports that I'm reading and saying, holy shit, now is not the time to greenlight fucking 15 live service games. Now is the time to just focus on Destiny 2 and make it like the best thing that it could be, and not to try to like capture this entire market. And unfortunately, it's just you can't swerve a corporation like a Tron Light Cycle, right? It's a big fucking slow boat. You can't turn it.
By the
easily.
way, Marathon Server Slam this weekend.
Right. Yes. Yep. Apparently, there's been a lot of people online. They're like, I can't believe what you did to Blue Point. I'm not going to buy Marathon. And it's like, okay, you weren't going to buy Marathon anyway. But yeah, it's a real shame because they seemed like they did really good work. They seemed really solid. And just the idea that the mismanagement of the company is what brought them down is a shame and a half. So
we need to end this part. We don't have time for everything I was going to do.
Well, I tell you what, hold on to it. Maybe we'll get back into it when we come back, because we got plenty more bad news left in part 2. Stick around, everybody. I know that's tantalizing. And we're back. Ow. And Bryce, before we move on to what actually seems like a moderate number of stories this week, let me I forgot, there was something I forgot to do last time around. I wanted to just briefly shout out. So I don't know if you know this, but when Jason and I first started this podcast, it was right after Don Matrick shoved his feet in his mouth at the launch of the Xbox One with all that bullshit. And so we called this podcast the Don Matrick Memorial Podcast. So I'm gonna name this particular podcast, it's the Phil Spencer Memorial Podcast. So
lovely. I'm part of history.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Sorry to rip to Phil Spencer.
Yeah, sorry, Phil Spencer, but
Listen, Phil.
It was a good joke. All right, when we left, we were talking about Sony and PlayStation. I talked about Circana earlier this podcast, which is one of those like retail tracking firms that looks at like what games people are playing, and they just put out the recent list of the top 5 most played PlayStation games in the U.S. in 2026 so far, 2025. So it was Fortnite in order: Fortnite, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 5, Roblox, and Minecraft. Now, they also, if we compare this to 2024, Bryce, 2024
whole year. Yeah, it's just roll it back one whole year.
One whole year.
Enough.
One whole year.
Because month by month, maybe people don't change it over every month, but just a whole year for me.
Exact same list in the exact same order: Fortnite, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 5, Roblox, Minecraft. If you go back earlier, you'll see some variation of this. We've got Fortnite, Call of Duty, or Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Minecraft. Sometimes there's an Apex Legends. Sometimes there's a couple of different Call of Duties in there. But all the way back to 2022, this list is pretty similar. So
I read a report maybe a week or so ago, and it was a similar market research report. And like part of it was like, what to expect and trends. And like, I want to say they had like kind of 6 big subheaders of like different things to be and like the 6th one was like the Roblox problem, because it's its own singular entity within gaming, because it is so big. It is such there are games within the game. There are games that creators make, and that you can buy stuff. You can there are V-Bucks. No, not Robux.
Robux. Yep.
It's unique, despite the fact that everyone is trying to copy it. They tried to copy it, and now they don't do that because now they realize you have to make games.
Right.
But there's nothing like it. Fortnite is also kind of like it, but like those, like, are these meta games? But they're not meta games because of anything they did. It's just because they're what's popular right now.
I think you got Grand Theft Auto 5 where people are role playing as like a police dispatcher for some reason that I don't. Well,
these are the PlayStation.
Understand.
These are the PlayStation launch. So these are unmodded. These are just people playing.
Yeah.
Presumably Grand Theft Auto 5 or maybe Grand Theft Auto Online, but like also people just fucking love driving around in Los Angeles and blowing shit up. You can't beat it. It's a good idea. It's a good base principles idea.
Very, very true. No, I think we talked about that report that you're talking about last time, and it was a really interesting report because it talked about the big takeaway was that the number of players of video games in their survey in 2025 was lower than 2019, so pre-pandemic levels, which is a bad sign, because when you're not getting new players, it means that the existing players are the ones that have to shoulder the increasing costs of development, especially going out on a limb, trying new stuff. All this stuff has to be soaked up. In this one, they talked about how basically, this is the reason why you have to close Blue Point, even though it doesn't make any fucking sense, is because you can go back to 2022 and see Grand Theft Auto 5, Fortnite, Call of Duty, and you go, these haven't moved in a long time. Like, nobody's playing. There's not Minecraft 2. There's not Fortnite 2.0. There's not Grand Theft Auto 6. Of course, there is going to be that. I'm sure that it's going to be a monumental juggernaut in its own sense. But like, when you're looking at an industry that's this calcified, like, you can't just try to go head to head with these companies that have that much weight behind them. It's like trying to go head to head in the MMO era against World of Warcraft, right? Like, you can try, but your chances are low of succeeding. Yeah. So
I mean, not to make it like a purity test or call it one's intentions into question, but also, like, we've seen Fortnite copycats, we've seen the Battle Royale copycats. Remember, we in the PS2 era, we've seen Grand Theft Auto copycats. We've seen Call of Duty has its own universe of other gun games that do very well on these lists. But it's not for lack of trying when someone makes a Fortnite on PlayStation and it doesn't work, right? Because I think Rec Room is the example of it's possible. Well, it's possible to enter the space as a newcomer and get a sizable portion of the fan base. Rec Room is kind of it's not just a VR game necessarily anymore, I think, but there is potential to go and be the next thing, but you can't just will that into existence. You have to have a good idea.
Yep.
You have to have, you can't just, right? Like, am I making the sense? Like, you have to have a new, trends aren't just, you have to have a new trend.
I cut it, but I'll just tell you, this week it was announced that King of Meat, that online shooter party game Mr. Beast endorsed, Amazon created, came out October of last year, is shutting down because they were hoping to get 100,000 concurrent players on Steam, and in their first week they got 400. Like, you have to have something special, and like it doesn't necessarily have to be like I had this whole rant last week about High Guard, about it doesn't have to be the newest thing in the world, but when the players go and give it a chance, they got to stick with it. They can't bounce off it. It can't be a worse version of Fortnite. It can't be a worse version of Grand Theft Auto. You got to bring something new to the table to keep people in there. Like, one of the things that has moved, it's not on this list, but one of the things that actually got some traction last year was Battlefield, because it was doing something that was different than the games that I just listed off. Right, you got these large scale online battle things. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just at this point, all the developers have to be a little bit smarter about this. They have to look at the writing on the wall and be like, we look at the failures and see why did they fail, and how can we avoid falling into that same pitfall moving forward. Like, there's a lot of evidence that with that High Guard game that failed because it was too internal. It was so internal that everybody just kept patting each other on the back saying what a great idea they had, and they never got it out in front of people into testing until way later when they couldn't do anything to change it. And so then when they put it out, it was like they got a 1.5 million people that downloaded it on Steam and tried it out. And it just wasn't good. It wasn't fun. So they didn't stick with it. So it just goes to show, this is just a common thing that I bring up every so often of like, the industry is weirdly calcified, and it kind of is a zero-sum game right now. So you got to be smart with what you're doing. You either got to put out a really high-quality product, or you got to find something that's really you got to hit the Balatro. You got to put the Balatro lightning in the Balatro bottle.
Well, yeah, and I think this also speaks to like the limited effectiveness of marketing from these from publishers.
Yep.
Right, like. High Guard, you said High Guard got like what, 1.5 million players or something when it,
got downloads or something around there. Yeah.
Yeah. They got a huge swarm that any game would love to get.
Yep.
And I'm not going to say they didn't get it based off of that idea, but it's a free game that came out. Was it a free game?
Yep. Free to play.
It was a free game that came out with like a little bit of like PR buzz.
Yep.
And that's why. It's not like and clearly it's not because the game captivated anybody.
Yeah.
Like, marketing can only go so far, but also like marketing doesn't it doesn't even always work. Like, it's I'm saying this weird, but like the most effective marketing to me has been like, pay Northern Lion to play your game, and if it looks okay, maybe I will throw my $10 around.
Yeah.
Which is, you can't scale that. That doesn't scale. There is a very zero sum of creators and development, and like it's video games are still really complicated and expensive to make. So there's a zero sum of like the ability to make games and make good games and push the boundaries of ideas of what good things can be. Everything can't be Fortnite because Fortnite is the product of the time it came out. And
Fortnite is a fluke. Like, Fortnite was designed as a tower defense game. Like, the actual battle royale part was just a ripoff of PUBG. So, yeah.
Which is an Armamod.
Which is a Rust.
It didn't come from anybody.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, it came from the fucking Brandon. Whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's just, you gotta be smarter. You gotta be smarter. So, all right. Now that we've established that you gotta be smarter, let's talk about Ubisoft.
Oh, God,
Lord almighty. Ubisoft Toronto, the studio that is making the Splinter Cell remake, apparently laid off 40 people last week, as well as came out with a statement saying that although they've done this, they're still working on it, and that it is definitely not been canceled. Don't you say it's canceled. It's definitely not canceled. So yeah, this is the studio that's working on that game. I stand in flabbergasted. Ubisoft, buy Blue Point, let them do the Splinter Cell remake, and because I don't know how long it takes to remake the original Splinter Cell. Like it's not a hard, it's not easy, but it's not like the most challenging project in the world.
They're going to go buy a company. They're doing cost cutting. They're doing
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But they could have that shit out in 2 years if they went and got some. I don't know how.
But again, like that's fine, but it's not. That will be like can at best be a base hit, right?
Right.
There's no world where that game is so good it becomes where Jimmy Fallon is for some reason playing it of his own volition.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So, but that's not all. We got a lot of Ubisoft shaken up. So,
okay, shake it up.
They also came out and they talked about how apparently Far Cry 7 is still under development. It's been 5 years since Far Cry 6 came out, I think next month. And this is the longest time they've ever had between Far Cry 6 and Far Cry 7, or between two Far Cry games. And they came out and basically said, no, it's still under development. It's been in development this entire time. You guys are really going to want to see this. It's super good, yada, yada, yada. Sure, Jan. Sure. Like, I just show me a trailer, man. Like, apparently there was also, and this is still in development, there's also a multiplayer spin-off of Far Cry, a dedicated, like your the Division Homeland, like a co-op online multiplayer Far Cry, and it's like, guys, I don't know what to say, but like, you guys don't have it anymore, Ubisoft. Like Hyperscape, X Defiant, Rainbow Six Pandemic, or whatever it was called. Like,
but if it plays like Far Cry, that's the thing, is that Far Cry has successfully positioned itself kind of like in the Assassin's Creed space for a long time.
Yeah.
For years, you could say like there'll be a new one and it'll be the thing you like, but because of cost cutting, right? They can't even. Like, did they do the thing for Far Cry 6 that they did for 4 and 5 where they made like a DLC spin-off of the same map? But okay. Mm-hmm. Then it is about time for a new numbered Far Cry.
Yep. I think for 6 it was like you played as the villains from the previous games. Like there was a
that's right.
Pagan Min one and then a Voss one, and yeah.
And so like, and who knows how that did or will do, but like, I think this is maybe a sign from Ubisoft of like, hey, take the time that you need to do this, but also we need you to cut your staff down.
You got it. Well,
sounds like management to me.
This one isn't. I mean, this one there's no cuts for this one, but this was just basically them talking about still having it under development and stuff. So
no cuts yet, but we're no one's precious here.
And it should be noted that we got our new Assassin's Creed leadership, because they shoved the last guy out, the guy that did Shadows, and so we're getting three folks coming in: Martin Schelling, Jean Goudesson, and Francois Debelly are getting handed the keys to it. There's one of them is in charge of like the general, one of them is in charge of story, and one of them is in charge of a third thing that I can't remember. But yeah, so this is the team. They're putting 3 people, I guess, in charge of Assassin's Creed now moving forward. So,
I mean, it is a large enough franchise where, they have a couple of games in development.
Yeah.
It like a lot of management positions, it makes sense to have someone to be a central hub and a central leader.
Yeah.
And it's so big that maybe that can't just be one person. Maybe, you do have to split it up across roles like that.
One of them is optimize processes and remove friction across complex production workflows.
A Grim Reaper.
Make sure that your Slack subscription is being billed correctly at the end of each month.
Remove friction means, have you thought about not doing that? What if we cut your feature?
What if we cut that? What if we took that out?
You need chips.
Yeah.
You need chips.
Some of these folks have been. A lot of them they're all ex Assassin's Creed people. So a lot of them have been in there with like Origins and Black Flag and Revelations and what was the other one, but Valhalla. So
okay,
these are people who were on board when Assassin's Creed, I guess, was doing a little bit better. Even though I think that the problems probably started around Valhalla and it's. I thought that Revelations or whatever the Roman one was generally well regarded. That people had a generally good impression of that one. But
I mean, then they had Valhalla, which was like fine,
super long.
Oh yeah. And then the Japan one, like, just as a matter of fact, had controversy around it, and that. That stuff eats away when you're a big franchise that needs to be 4-quadrant and making a lot of noise and getting people excited to play Assassin's Creed again.
Yep. And then last but not least, the current creative director for Assassin's Creed Hex, which is the next one that's supposed to be a little bit more horror themed, has left the company and is being, this new staff is basically taking over. If I had to guess, I'd probably say that this was them cleaning house as they came in, as opposed to anything else. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer.
We'll see if it makes any difference. I mean, I like Assassin's Creed, but I haven't cared for any of the recent ones, so maybe they can get me to play another one.
I mean, hey, that's a problem. Maybe this is a solution.
Yep.
We'll try this one.
In related news, Tencent has shut down a studio that was employing a former Assassin's Creed director, Ashraf Ismail. This was the guy that worked on Black Flag and Valhalla and was brought in to this American Tencent house that was doing a single player game that was not announced. So that studio looks like it's been dissolved, and that particular whatever project they were working on looks like it's been canned. So that Teamy Group is the one apparently for Tencent that does all the mobile stuff. So it's possible this was just a mobile game. So they did Call of Duty Mobile and a few other things. So
okay, it's got to be tough in a big. Being under Ubisoft and having all this Tencent branding because you have to I guess is the studio shutting down? The Teamy studio.
Yeah.
Teamy Montreal. Okay.
Yes.
And so, this like such a behind closed doors thing, and who knows what's up with this Ismail guy.
The one clue that we do have is that apparently that Teamy subgroup has been rumored to be one of the main investment groups for Highguard. So it's possible that with Highguard not taking off, that they're basically cutting bait in a lot of their Western development studios and just refocusing on we'll make the mobile version of a popular Western game that does gangbusters in China type of thing.
Okay.
Yep. This is I have some mixed feelings about this particular one. No, we got a bunch more of these. I'm sorry, we got a bunch more of these. But Nacon, the publisher, French publisher Nacon, has filed for insolvency. Nacon. So okay, there was a company called Big Ben that turned into Nacon. Big Ben was a software publisher. Nacon itself existed as a hardware manufacturer. They made game sticks and steering wheels and a bunch of other peripherals. At a certain point, they merged, and Big Ben basically held the majority of the shares in the company. The weird thing is there's something going on here because here's just a quote from the story. Nacon said its available assets are insufficient to pay its current debts. But the thing is that from this was due to a quote unexpected refusal of its banking pool to respond to the drawdown notice. So Nacon apparently had a not great year, and they were drawing down their valuation, and they owed money to creditors. From what I read in this story, it seems like Big Ben was supposed to then pay Nacon a certain amount on this loan, and they refused to. And so Nacon was just like, well, we can't pay, and now the entire company is basically being filed for insolvency, which I don't, and it's because this is a European thing. I'm not as familiar with insolvency as I am with bankruptcy. Like, I'm not sure if this is like government bureaucrats come in and downsize the company, or if it's like bankruptcy where the debt is taken off your books, but you have a certain amount of repayment and goodwill to make up. So I don't know. All I know is that the last time the words Big Ben Interactive came out of my mouth, it was when they were fucking the Frogwares guys out of the Sinking City, where they took the cracked copy of that software and then relisted it on Steam after Frogwares took it down. So
and then you had like Test Drive Unlimited, the Solar Crown, which has been like a fledgling live service game, and its updates have mostly been like, we added blackjack to the game now. We added poker to the game.
Nacon, I looked through their Wikipedia page. They got a lot of titles. I mean, they're the ones that published.
They got a lot of stinkers. They got that Gollum game.
Yep. They also put out that RoboCop game, and I do like that RoboCop game. So, but they've been. I mean, a lot of this was probably under Big Ben, but some of the stuff after, I think it's like 2022 is when they became Nacon. But yeah, the Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, which I thought was an okay game, but didn't get a good shake. Steel Rising, that was the French puppet Dark Souls game.
Oh God, that game. They've got like the Tour de France series,
Blood Bowl 3,
series,
yeah,
Isle of Man series.
Transport Fever 2, my dad's favorite game. Yeah. A lot of Cricket 24.
Fucking a lot of rugby on this list, Jeff. Holy.
What about War Hospital? So yeah, they obviously were shoving a lot of crap out the door, including the new Styx game that came out this week. That came out like 2 days ago. There was a new Styx game. So,
oof.
Yep. It is unclear whether what's going to happen with the hardware side moving forward, which apparently after reading this, I was just a PC Gamer article, but it sounded like their hardware was like okay. Like it was fine, but not. There was always some kind of caveat when it came to the steering wheel or the headphones or the stick, that there was always like one thing that everybody was like, yeah, it's pretty good, but then this one, the plastic feels real cheap, or like, the pedal doesn't work as well on this one. So
interesting.
But yep.
What a shame. That sucks. That's not great.
Yep. All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah. This one's not good.
Yep. Full Circle, the maker of that new Skate online service, is
Skate period. Excuse you.
Yeah, letting a few people go. Say it all with me, people. They are reshaping the studio to better support Skate's long-term future. Optimize development. Yep. Same old. These shifts mean making changes to our team structure, and some roles will be impacted. The teammates affected are talented colleagues and friends who helped build the foundation of Skate. You know the drill. I don't even need to go over the rest of this. Which I think is a little bit of a weird one, because as near as I understand, that Skate game, I don't think it's got a shitload of players, but I think the people that are playing it have a good, like, they like it outside of the season pass stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a simulation-ish game. Like, it's not fucking Madden.
Well, then also, though, but then, see, I don't know. You could tell that something was awry, because recently my friend John was telling me about this. So there's the opening area of the game that you did your training in, and then when you went to the mainland, you were never able to go back. Players wanted to go back to that island, so they put in some work, and they said, okay, you can now go back to the island. Except, this is so weird. You got to buy the season pass. If you buy the season pass, you get to go early. If you have the season pass, there's a certain point, or if you don't have a season pass, there's a certain point where you can go to the island in a time-limited fashion. Once that time is up, if you have the premium season pass, you can continue to go back to that island. Non-season pass holders can purchase a day pass using the in-game currency
in my air.
To go
air
to the
jerk off to all of that.
It's such a like, what? And then, the thing is that they had said early on in development, we will never charge people for new areas in the game, and the player base was like, okay, well, what fucking gives? You said that, and they literally just pulled a Darth Vader on them, and they say, well, plans can change. And that was kind of the end of it. It's like, damn, dude.
And it sounds, I don't know how big that area is, but this seems like such a really small thing to legislate like this.
Yep.
The amount of time wasted coming up with this policy when they could have just said, fucking go back, or just you have to be a season pass. Be in the season pass and we'll let you go. And it would be that simple.
Yep.
But we're going to have a 2-week period on the first and fourth week of every month. But only if you've done 44 minutes of skating airtime in the season. Each season is about 4.5 days long.
Yep.
Like you could have good management would have just said, this is a small problem. Let's give it a small solution.
Yep. Well, but also EA is currently in the middle of that monetization spree. They got that fucking leveraged buyout debt on their books now that they're going to have to pay back. So we're going to squeeze them until the game is destroyed, and then we'll shut it down to save even more costs by dissolving the entire thing and get rid of something that people liked. So
and they're going to say you were the problem.
Yep.
They will say that the gamers were the problem. They would say
Jeff from RageSelect. He's the one that did this. They put out a statement saying, "You not a gamers in general. This one guy over here is his fucking podcast."
But what?
Yeah.
They knew it would be a live service game, so it's not like this is like a planned like. Drop down in reduction in workforce or something like it's such a shame that this is what it looks like when these live service games flop. Not just like the team is waiting to see if their game is good,
right,
but like they're also still crunching for a game people don't even want to play.
Yep. Or at least are not willing to spend money on. So you probably could have made a new skate game. You probably just could have made a $60 skate game and sold 1 million copies of it. People fucking love skateboarding video games, but they were like, nope, we got to have the live service. And so now it's going to be a whole fucking thing. Let's see. We talked about it a little bit before, and we're getting a little short on time, so we got to breeze through some of these. There was a new interview with Variety where the new person in charge of Roblox was asked a whole bunch of challenging questions about Roblox. I don't know if you read any of this, but there was an interview with the last guy, and it was so terrible. It was awful. He did the like, so I guess we don't have a problem then. So that's what you're saying? So that's what you're saying? Like this real combative kind of like argumentative thing. So they hired this new person who's got a PhD in online commodification of children, whatever that means. This new lady, Dr. Elizabeth Milividov, and she had an interview with Variety. I recommend everybody go read it if you're interested in Roblox, because they basically asked her a whole bunch of times, like, what are you going to do? And they were like, well, we're slowly putting in some new things, and they kept pressing them, and at which point almost all of I read most of this article, most of the actual interview in general, and most of their answers came back around to like, well, we really think that parents need to be monitoring what their children are doing. Well, we really need to be, and they said, well, okay, what are you doing to keep children from basically making a new account in Roblox? And they're like, well, that's really a conversation that needs to be had between the children and their parents in the household. And it's like, well, what about the stuff online that slips through the cracks the children are seeing? And it's like, well, the parents really need to be making sure that they keep an eye on like what their children are doing. Basically, the entirety of this article was like, it's not my problem. It's fucking your problem. You let your kids play Roblox and they get fucking traffic, they see some bullshit, that's up to you. Which made me wonder while I was reading this, if that's the case and that's where they want to go, why don't you make it so that like you can't have a solo Roblox account? Like it has to be tied to a parent account that has to be logged in watching them play at all times. And the answer is because that's not what this is about. This is about getting kids this is about letting kids play around online and the money that brings in. And they don't want to, any safeguards they put up is going to make it harder for kids to spend money on the online crazy game. So,
well, I think there are problems going on Roblox that don't revolve around the monetization scheme.
Yes.
That I think we can expect Roblox to take action on.
Yep.
Like, I think the idea of a kid chatting with a stranger and that conversation ending up with them taking the conversation off platform, and then whatever the ... is after that goes outside of the conversation.
Yep.
But I would assume Roblox... I'm not going to say Roblox is like an Orwellian surveillance state, but like, fucking read all of the messages. And if it sounds like they're trying to move to WhatsApp, fucking step in. I don't know. I don't know what other reasonable solutions there are here other than like, well, just watch it and make sure like you said, like, kids shouldn't be trafficked, and that's something that they can take a look at.
Right.
That doesn't have to affect how much Robux comes in.
Right. No, I mean, it really just seems we've seen this happen a few times in the tech space. Like, I think that YouTube waffled for a little while before finally rolling out YouTube Kids. There's been a few other things out there, and the answer is like, it's a pain in the ass, and I don't wanna.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I don't wanna. It's a bunch of money that I got to spend and developers I got to spend. It's not my fucking problem what your dumbass kids do. I'm here to get your dumbass kids' money. I don't want to have to do the rest of this. The admittedly incredibly difficult job of trying to monitor a bunch of kids to make sure they don't get tricked by adults into doing fucked up shit. That's a hard ass job, man. We employ full-time people to do those fucking jobs. Like, so the idea that you're going to have an AI or some like content moderation switches in Roblox is probably not enough.
Well, and you look at the Discord thing, which we will talk about here, I guess, in just a sec. But like, it's a sign that like, I don't think Discord wants to do this, or I don't think Roblox wants to have to come up with safety features.
Yep.
And I don't think users want to have to interface or have to go through any sort of age check on either side of the line, right?
Yep,
I don't want to have to deal with it because I don't trust them with my data. I don't want to have kids to have to go with it because I definitely don't trust their data being handled by any of these companies.
Yeah.
And not to mention, like, it sets a bad precedent for them, and it sets a crazy amount of normalization that everything that they do online must be tracked.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Like, nobody wants to do this, but like, you have to take the problem of kids the serious problems, and I'm sure there are people working on the serious. I'm sure there are, but like, something is keeping us from getting there.
I don't know. It's a larger problem that's been around for a long time and nobody wants to fuck with it because it's like, what do you do? Do you let private corporations do your age verification? Do you let the government do your age verification? Does the UN do your verification so the entire world can have one method? Is there an outsized service that's set up with a board of 55 countries that makes the app? So
right.
But yeah, speaking of Discord,
and to what end?
Yep.
To what end? To make the internet almost as good as it is right now?
Right. Yeah.
Like, no offense, kids, but you are fucking this up for us.
Right. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's like, no, I am a 47-year-old man and I want blood and tits and violence and swearing. And I'm not going to give you my fucking credit card or my driver's license. No, you make them give you their credit card or driver's license. So, but yeah, I don't know. As you mentioned, Discord has also rolled back a little bit their thing where they've said that they're going to be moving the whole age verification thing to later in 2026. They also said that they disconnected from Persona, the kind of controversial company with ties to both Peter Thiel and the United States government. That was doing a lot more checking than just whether you're old enough type of thing. like running your face against government databases with an AI and shit. And
then like scanning you just to see if you had any sort of fucking face eugenics weird.
Yeah.
You got a criminal T-zone.
Yep.
Watch the T-zone.
And then apparently, so then in their post, they talked about adding more verification options like credit card verification. And, we all know that putting a credit card into a website in order to prove that you're over 18 is something that everybody does and that no child knows how to do.
Well, I mean, or I guess Apple, I get my Discord stuff through Apple. Maybe Apple could tell. I mean, I've had a Discord account for a fucking long time at this point.
Yeah.
But like, I think part of this was also Discord saying like, for most people, we're not even gonna make you go and take the test or take the age verification. But like, why are we doing this at all? Why is this? What the fuck are you? You're so. Why didn't you have Chat GPT figure this out for you?
So all this is to say, you need to go to patreon.com/RageSelect and get on the Discord server now, as opposed to waiting until they're going to ask for your stupid ass Face ID, and you got to put Norman Reedus and Death Stranding 2 up in order to get on my server. Trust me, I will distribute Norman Reedus pictures to everybody who wants to get on the RageSelect server.
Doing a service. You're doing a service.
All right, we got a little bit of time left. Let's run through these. HP has said that 35% of the cost of their PCs is now memory. This should surprise no one. Apparently, in previous years, it was about 15 to 18% for memory and storage. Now it is up to 35% of the overall cost of the PC. It sucks, and I hate it. There's also a story where the Chinese RAM manufacturer I was talking about last week has immediately, there was going to sell cheap RAM, and then immediately their RAM went up to like $500 for a 32 gig stick because they're buying everything. So there you go. In New York,
market, man, it's an efficient market. So perfectly efficient.
I still have this hypothetical where it's like, if Elon Musk said, I'm going to buy all the cars in Austin, I'm going to buy every car from every dealership in all of Austin, including all the cars that are coming to Austin for the entire year, we would say, no. I don't care if you can legitimately buy that. Like, people need to be able to buy cars for their life. You can't just buy all of it. You can't just buy all of a commodity.
I understand.
For the entire year. So,
well, but it's not on the flip side of that coin. Mm-hmm. It's not like that. It's like Ford going and buying all the steel.
Yeah.
They are the ones who buy the steel. They are the market for it. It's not the consumers at that where they've made this like interjection.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's all being driven by AI, and that's being driven by a select few number of companies and X, Y, and Z. But
it's balls. Let's see. Letitia James in New York is suing Valve over Counter-Strike 2 loot boxes. That's a weird headline for 2026, apparently. And it's all just the normal loot box stuff, like encourages gambling with children and addiction, and you don't have the stuff. And apparently last year it was like Steam made something like $1 billion on loot boxes. So it is a big chunk of their overall revenue. So we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, I mean, the casinos and stuff that are all around cases and inventory stuff definitely stinks. But then also opening cases stinks.
Yep.
In a different stench.
Yeah.
I don't know. I say they should not make age verification a part of the case purchasing process. That's my American right.
If my child wants to buy keys to open Counter-Strike, knife, loot, skin boxes, then that is their goddamn right as an American citizen.
George Washington died in the Independence War so that my child could bet on the Cauchy market on how long this podcast will be.
Not that long, because we only got one more story, but this one sucks. And it's only tangentially related. So, Finji, the company that make Night in the Woods and Tunic
games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They got a game called Usual June that they're making. I don't know if you've been been tracking this. It's kind of this lady and her friends, and they're doing ghost adventures, and it's a third person game where you're walking around. It's a little bit of a departure from their normal kind of shtick. So apparently they put an ad on TikTok. They use TikTok's ad to put this image right here that I'm showing you up on there as an advertisement. Then they started getting reports from their users that there was this incredibly sexual ad with the usual June, and it had the main character in a bikini with like thigh-high stockings, and she's a black lady, and she was turned around presenting her butt to the camera in this incredibly sexualized pose. She didn't even have the same body proportion. She looked like a Barbie doll, right, instead of the normal thing. So apparently Finji then like got in touch with TikTok, and they asked what the fuck, because this seemed to be generated by TikTok, like it wasn't like a fan site. At which point TikTok came back with like this weird, like at one point they claimed that there was no indication of AI generated assets, and that Finji must have put this picture on there themselves, that it was you. At which point, like, it seems like Finji had to like. I'm reading between the lines here. It seems like Finji had to be like, okay, listen, you are infringing on the copyright of the fucking company, and we're going to take you to court and sue you for money if you don't fucking take this shit down. At which point, apparently TikTok, again, not a user, but the company, responded that they would have to escalate it internally and get back to them. And as of the time of this podcast, there is no further update. And so it appears that and they also confirmed that they said that there was this AI thing that they were doing where they were generating new ads based on, like, you know, what did they say there? They use a quote catalog ads format designed to demonstrate the performance benefits of combining carousel and video assets into sales campaigns. But just like literally taking a paying customer company, not a person, but just like somebody's art, and then I had to search all around for it. I did finally find this because it's not linked. I mean, it's gross. And so it's not linked in any of these. But when I finally found it, it was like, it was gross. It was like, just like when I show you the screenshots of this, it's just like a Stranger Things, kids, teens hanging out, doing ghost adventures. And this was like a lady on the beach turned around showing her butt directed at camera. And it doesn't also help that it's a fucking black woman. Like there's some racial implications here that are also just not good at all. And so I don't know, I read this once and I was going to cut it, and then I read the story and I was like, I can't believe that it was specifically the company TikTok that was doing this, not a malicious user like we normally see with some of the stuff.
Well, for TikTok, I'm not justifying, but I think I think I can see what their excuse is. I don't necessarily like it, or really believe that it's a problem, or it's a constraint. But you know, they used this one format of ads, and maybe they didn't look. Fucking some of the TikTok ad stuff is complicated, and it is convoluted, and not all of it works the way you might think. So I'm not surprised to hear them say, we put this still image, I guess, into this ad format. Yeah. Not realizing the ad format generates a video or something, you know, it does something, presumably generates an just whatever it thinks will be a good video to go with that image based on probably what other ads work well. And I guess probably what ads work well globally are a lady in a bikini on a beach, right, showing her thing. Buy her video game. But probably, like, big data wise, probably works a reliable amount, honestly. Yeah. But not good, and not good for the people buying that campaign to not know that that's going to happen. And obviously they're not going to want that to be an output of this. Obviously. No. Yep.
So that's where all the Rams going, is to making grotesque TikTok ads. So with that,
you know what? No, okay.
What's going on? We're going to overtime here.
In a fucking like war game scenario, though, I can see the computer going like, you just need like to make sexy porn of your video game character. Of course. And it will be very popular on the internet.
Lots of click-throughs. Yeah. I mean,
do that.
That's the problem with having an AI do this stuff. There was an article, I didn't even read it last week, that was like, the Defense Department has been doing AI war games, and it turns out the AI is like really quick to go to the nuke everyone button, like right away. Because it's like, well, I mean, you want to win. Like, that's a fast way to win, man. You just hit the button and shoot the nukes and everything's fine. Like,
fucking loves nuking us to death, man.
It's literally the plot of War Games. It's literally the plot of a cautionary tale.
No, it's not. Because in War Games, the AI learns not to do that.
That's true. That's true. It does. It just wants to play a game of chess. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We come back. We got more trailers. Everybody stick around as long as the nuclear apocalypse doesn't happen. And that's part 3. That means it's time for trailers. And our first trailer answers the question of what actually is going on. What is Microsoft having Blizzard do? There's a new product that's coming out called Overwatch Rush. And we got a video of an early development build of Overwatch Rush. And Overwatch Rush is basically turning the first-person shooter MOBA into a phone top-down MOBA. It's 4v4. It's just a MOBA. It's just making
Overwatch itself was a MOBA.
Yeah.
But this is a MOBA.
This is top down. This is League of Legends. This is like it's all the characters you love from Overwatch, but they got even the little health bars over their heads are in the segments like they are in a MOBA.
Though there's not creeps. It doesn't look like there's any creeps or anything. But you're right. I mean, it certainly fucking looks like one.
Yep.
And then it brings the question what a MOBA even is. But
it also probably doesn't have Dota has the builds, right? You level up, you buy stuff at the store, you have a different kind of builds and stuff. This looks like it's much more just like trying to do Overwatch, but from a top-down phone perspective.
Yeah. And like to be clear, this is a phone product.
Yeah.
This is like we're looking at phone controls.
Yep.
On a screen. It's which I mean, okay. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess like sure, but didn't you guys already do this? Wasn't it called Heroes of the Storm, and didn't it not work? Like you weren't able to
got Reinhardt.
Yeah, I guess.
It's got Mercy in it.
I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It just it feels incredibly like it feels like a very quick cash grab turnaround for not the American market. It feels like
Are they auto shooting? Is that how this is working?
It seems,
or maybe it's like a dual trigger or dual stick.
It seems like there's a button here for the main attacks, and then some of these are like the alternates. But yeah, I mean, just a straight up, I don't know. I saw a headline that was like, "Hey, they're finally making a new Overwatch game." I was like, "Oh, is it the single player game I've been wanting for a long time?" They're like, "No, it's something you want even less than regular Overwatch." So,
but we alluded to this a little bit in the previous parts, but like. This is something that can move the needle for sure.
Yeah.
Like a simple Overwatch game on mobile with the characters that people know and understand how they work, and they basically have the same abilities, but now it's just a twin stick instead of like a first person shooter.
Yep.
And on paper, this sounds fine. I mean, what we're looking at is a little boring, but also I'm not listening and I don't know if there's, narration and whatever. But
if you were listening, you'd be hearing a four-player team doing that thing where they're playing a game online. They're like, no, oh, get the Reaper's on the left. Reaper's on the left. Go right. Okay. My ult's almost full. full. Yeah. Wait, where's healing? I need healing. Yeah, that whole thing. Like,
but I mean, the more I look at this, the less I feel squeamed out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not seeing a lot. I mean, it just seems like a twin stick version of Overwatch.
Yep.
And that sounds good to me.
I mean, for God's sake, fucking Pokemon has one of these. Fucking Dragon Ball has one of these. Everybody's got an online, adversarial phone game. So, sure, if you guys, they've already got all the art and everything, and if you can make it work in a top-down fashion, then why not? Just cash it in and get your paycheck. So
maybe it'll be good, actually.
I wouldn't know. I don't really play cell phone games, but who knows? Maybe. Let's see. From there, we got the launch trailer for Rainbow Six Mobile. More mobile games for you. Speaking of cashing in on the thing, I thought this would have been out years ago, to be honest. Like, I don't believe that we're only getting a launch of the Rainbow Six phone game in 2026. Is it
going to be like Overwatch one where it seems like a pretty big genre difference almost, going from first person to twin stick.
Yeah.
Is this going to be like an adaptation of what, Siege, or is this like a different thing?
It's definitely Siege. The trailer that I brought was a cinematic trailer, but I pulled up some what looks like a gameplay trailer. I think it's going to be another one of these kind of first person phone style games where you're basically doing an FPS but from using the little phone controls. So I mean, it's obviously like a simplified version of all the models from Siege, but with similar.
It looks like it's running on my 980.
Yeah. So that's out. If you want to play it, go check it out.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I am very squeamish about whether I'm going to play Marathon or not. They have their big server badge. Server slam. But just like with Concord, I really do like the way that Marathon looks, and they've been putting out these character trailers. They put this one out called Rook. There's little trailers that showing off of the individual operators. This one shows a guy that looks like he hacks the robot, the creeps that are in the map, and then uses them as a way to attack other characters. And it looks really cool. The thing is, if I keep saying it, if they made a single player game that had this aesthetic, I would love it. I would totally be on board to play it. I love this chunky Designers Republic, like kind of a weird, it's like the 90s punk future kind of style that they've got. And Blizzard or Bungie knows how to make a cutscene. This is real nice looking. It's obviously pre-rendered. It's got a bunch of stuff in it, and it's pretty short, but I dig it. I mean, it's a good like vibes trailer for the game. So yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be the Arc Raiders that I actually play. I played a little Arc Raiders, but then I was like, I see why people like this, but it's not necessarily my thing. I don't know. Are you getting in on the server slam this weekend? Bryce?
Slam. No, I don't think I have the hardware for that. I want Marathon to work, but I'm in the camp for both Marathon and like Destiny. Where like I probably would have given a try to a single player version of this story.
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's like a grindy work game.
Yeah.
And those are what make money. So
yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Speaking of Sony properties, we got the shortest trailer in the world, a release date for that Wolverine game.
This is not a trailer.
Yeah, I know.
This is an ad. This is a 6-second ad that
all trailers
TikTok
are ads.
AI generate. No, like TikTok would have AI generated this. It's just the date.
Yeah, I know, but I put it on the list before I watched it, so it's in here anyway. I had the transition all keyed up, and I didn't want to rearrange it. I was in a hurry today, so anyway, September 15th of this year. It's a few months out from Grand Theft Auto, obviously getting out of the blast zone of that, but like, yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I don't want superhero. Well, just there was remember the PS3 era when like Uncharted did well, and then we added a million fucking Uncharted games.
I do.
And now the Spider-Mans did well, and maybe Wolverine will do well, and then it's all just going to be like superhero video games instead of like
maybe
stuff.
If they could just make some good ones, like up until now, the Avengers game and the I guess Spider-Man was good, but like I was bemoaning this with Michael when we were playing that My Hero Academia game, and I'm like, how did we get through this entire everybody's got superhero fever part of our culture and not get like some really good Iron Man games or Captain America games or like, the Marvels tie. I'd settle for a crappy The Marvels tie-in game, a Moon Knight online game that I could play.
Well, there's no time for that. I mean, they're writing these scripts and turning them around, especially for the TV shows, as fast as they can. And also like these games don't make any fucking money. They're the merchandise that doesn't make any fucking money.
They could. I mean, the My Hero Academia game came out, and
anime games are different.
And it's in it, we got a trailer for Star and Stripe first DLC character. I only put this on here because it pissed me off so much. It's one of my favorite characters in the game. She's like the one American hero that comes in. She's wearing this giant American flag cape, and she just beats the hell out of the bad guy in like 3 episodes, and it's so cool. And she is a DLC character that I didn't get for my $60 purchase of My Hero Academia All's Justice, so I got a little pissy about it because I wasn't going to spend an extra $5 on Star and Stripe.
She looks like a gender bent version of All Might.
She's the reason. Yes, she is a huge. All Might saves her when she's a kid, and that's why she dresses like that. She has more hair spikes than All Might because she's literally patterned herself after him, and she got all buff and stuff. So when she was a kid, she had dark hair, it was a little waif, and now she's this fucking Amazon Titan, and I love her so much. She almost
is a fighting game. If anything, this is a good sign of that a fighting game's live service is doing well. That they have a season pass.
Yep,
and have a character you want.
Yep. Except for the fact that I refunded this entire game because it was kind of assy. So they didn't get my money. But this is the problem with anime games is they're able to get your money because you're like, I like that show. I want to play that fight. And then you spend $70 and get the stupid DLC. So anyway.
What else, Jeff?
Let's see. We got a bunch of comic book stuff. We got Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight.
What did I tell you?
This is funny. This is a cinematic trailer from the IGN Fan Fest. I didn't pick everything up from there, and this is just a recreation of the scene from the first Tim Burton Batman, where Jack Nicholson and his thugs fuck up the museum while Party Man by Prince plays, and it's literally playing in the background. And so the little Lego guys are going around throwing paint on the paintings in the Lego. They got little Lego versions of the Scream and the girl with the pearl earring. So it was pretty funny. I appreciate that they're going that far back into the canon, especially because like this was the Batman that I had when I was a kid, was the Tim Burton Batman. So and the fact that they licensed that Prince song. I mean, I don't know if that's hard or whatever, but they didn't do some kind of sound alike. They actually got the full-on Prince song for it. So
yeah, I would be tangentially, I would be interested in like how they do these deals for some of these franchises, because like, you know, the Marvel characters get tied up, all of the superhero characters get tied up, the Star Wars stuff gets tied up, and they do a pretty good job of like capturing the beats of these stories while making them, you know, kind of family friendly, goofy.
So anyway, it looks pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's see. We also got, this is the last superhero that I got.
This is just this one.
New character for Invincible Versus. It's Powerplex. I don't know. I can't tell if this is actually being voiced by Aaron Paul. Aaron Paul getting a lot of video game cred, maybe, if so, because he voiced him in the show. And I like this one because I know who this is, as opposed to the last 4 characters that they announced for this game. So, did you watch Invincible at all?
I only watched the first season and I liked it, but I don't have Prime. I haven't had Prime in a while, so
yeah.
It's waiting for me.
Yeah, this is a character whose family got killed by like one of the Invincible fights, so he decides to become kind of a psycho killer superhero that kills off the main guy. So Aaron Paul gets to scream a lot. I think in this trailer he literally screams he can't keep getting away with it. So but yeah, looks good. Guys, you've sold me. Just put the game out already. Come on.
Is this game not fucking out yet?
Nope.
When is it out?
April 30th.
They even put it in the description. He can't keep getting away with
yes. So, all right. Another tie-in. We got the first Power Wash Simulator 2 DLC pack, which is the Adventure Time DLC, where the king guy, the cold guy, freezes everybody up, and instead of getting rid of the dirt, you're getting rid of the ice from a bunch of the Adventure Time places. Okay. I'm not an Adventure Time guy, so I don't know these references. But I wasn't a SpongeBob guy, and I did the SpongeBob DLC anyway, so I'll probably be getting this. It looks like they might have switched out one of the lift platform for Jake the dog lift platform.
Oh, that's good.
And then they changed all the outfits of the characters into these kind of Adventure Time characters. Yeah.
So well, they really have the sort of cell shaded style on this, because like the Power Wash Sim is not like cel shaded like this.
Yep. Yeah.
But it does kind of, it looks a little cartoony. It looks 3D, but
Yeah.
it looks like a Netflix 3D anime.
It's serviceable enough for some power washing. I'm gonna have to get somebody over here who knows about Adventure Time to play this, because I don't know any of these references, and there's obviously a whole crap load of them. So let's see. All right, moving on from there. We got the launch of Patient Zero Requiem Elusive Target for Hitman World of Assassination. I really wish that these weren't elusive targets. This is the one that Mila Jovovich is in, and she's playing the head of that corporation from the evil pharmaceutical corporation from Patient Zero DLC that they put out for Hitman when they launched the version of it, I think on like the PS5 or whatever. But she looks pretty good, like a lot of the other characters have looked. Slim Shady looked pretty good, and the Sean Bean looked pretty good. She looks pretty good. There's a lot of this trailer though that makes me wonder if it's actually in the game, because there's a lot of like her fighting other people, and normally the targets in Hitman don't spend a lot of time doing complicated actions on other people.
Did you watch any of the Slim Shady Eminem Marshall Mathers DLC?
I did not.
Like actual footage of it? That shit went off the rails. You should go watch it, because it's a little fucking insane. So I'm not surprised to see them do stuff that might be a little more involved with the guest celebrity.
Okay.
Especially after, I haven't really played any of the other DLC ones, so I don't know how much it compares, but that Slim Shady one was fucking weird.
Okay. I just wanted to put out I will pay IO $20 for, and I get all the elusive targets, and I can do them as many times as I want to. Just fucking, I don't want the elusive targets to be a one-shot thing. I want to be able to take my time and do them 18 different ways from Tuesday. So,
well, you can wait until the game is at its end of its life, and they put together a Game of the Years with an S edition.
I will do that. I will totally do that. Let's see. From there, we got the John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, which is coming out in just a couple of weeks. We got a new character portrait from that, of a character called the Striker. This is basically a kind of a Left 4 Dead clone with some more magical superpowers. And John Carpenter apparently is willing to write a backstory and put his name on it for for a couple $1,000. But it looks like a pretty decent game. It's being made by Saber, that did the Space Marine 2, so they've got a good track record.
They have the crowd technology again, the zombie crowd tech from Space Marine, and what's the other one? World War Z.
Oh yeah. And this character looks like they've got kind of like a weird like electricity bomb that they can shoot out and charge up. I don't know. I keep looking at this game and seeing the amount of zombies on screen and going like, I don't care how fast you can reload.
Yeah, there's a ton. But there's something about that tech that just like they have it, and it feels right. It feels like you're actually chewing into these big crowds of mindless zombies.
Yeah.
And I think this also makes sense to do a zombie game, but instead of steampunk Warhammer world, it's just in a John Carpenter horror world.
I for so long was unclear about whether this was a previous thing. If this was like a
property.
Like a comic book or something that came out a long time ago. There's also a demo for this on Steam. I know you've been queuing up the demos, but and it's also only $40 for the regular version, so which is a good compromise.
There you
go. Let's see. From here we get into the weird shit.
Now we get into
Now we're getting into the weird shit.
Ooh.
So I found this trailer for this game called Mama's Sleeping Angels, and it's a 4-player online co-op action game where you play as a bunch of crazy weirdos in a crazier weirdo world, like kind of a lo-fi early 2000s like CG grungy dirty world.
It's like a Y2K aesthetic that's
yes.
really popular right now.
Yeah, a lot of customization options. There is a kiss button that they show off a lot in this, where you can go up to other players or enemies and hit a button and they just go. So, but then there's also a lot of Suda 51 style blood and guts and ultraviolence and crazy huge monsters and wackiness. And I was like, well, that's different and interesting, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, I like the trend of this Y2K like kind of aggressive sort of styling, lo-fi, low poly kind of look.
Yep.
I've been digging it lately, and it seems like there are a lot of games out that are in this style that are not just like a flash in the pan. Hey, I did the thing. Here's a 2-hour game.
Right.
Like it seems like there's some pretty in-depth experiences still being made in this style, which I'm down for. I like the style. This is my pixel art. Putting a box around stuff and using that Evangelion font for stuff is my nostalgia trip. It's my pixel art.
Well, maybe March 11th. I guess you could check it out. Maybe we would play it online. We would do an online co-op dojos for this one.
There's
I don't know.
Tamagotchi indicator on the screen for some reason.
I'm
There's
just
a flip phone indicator. On the
thing
screen.
for me is like it just doesn't look like anything else that I've watched in the last several weeks. So like if it's ugly and horrible and grungy and I'm like, great, that's great. It worked for me with mouthwashing. Do whatever you feel like and I will come and check it out.
I'll send you some links. We can go uglier. We can go uglier than this, Jeff.
I also found this other game. It's called Nightmare Reaper. This game has been out for a little while and it's kind of like a boomer shooter where you go inside of dreams and you're this lady that goes into dreams and kind of fucks shit up. And they're putting out a multiplayer mode for it where you can play it 4-player co-op. They have this little animated trailer where this lady almost gets killed, and then 3 other versions of the exact same lady show up and hand her like a samurai sword, and then they go and then they show what the gameplay looks like, and it's just Doom 1 with ladies in nightgowns blowing stuff up.
This is the other thing, is making Z-Doom games.
yeah. Which I think this came out like either last year or the year before on Steam. So this is not a new thing, but it does have some interesting, it looks interesting. It also has some allusions to some 2D stuff and some like, there's like a sanity meter kind of stuff. So another thing that I was kind of interested, this is just something different to look at.
Cool.
So yeah,
Nightmare Reaper,
March 17th. Let's see. We're in the horror zone now. So next up, we got the prologue trailer for Cthulhu Cosmic Abyss. This is right around the corner. This is the one where you are at the bottom of the ocean in kind of a futuristic research base. The first part of this trailer definitely takes place just like in a house somewhere.
I was going to say, like, is this like a Soma sort of thing? What are we doing here?
And then it's like, apparently this is like you went down to this kind of futuristic research base and everybody's dead and you're trying to piece back together what happened. And there's a lot of gooey Cthulhu-esque shit going on down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This seems cool, right? This is like I'm sure this is just like a narrative walking around.
Look, it's being posed by Nacon.
You got it. Nailed it. I don't need to hear any more.
Yeah, flip the Nacon coin, and if it comes up Snakehead top, that means a good game. And if it comes up Snakehead down, that means that you wasted your money.
Alrighty, well,
coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
April 16th. On my birthday. No less. So there you go.
Birthday for you. I'll buy you this as a gift for your birthday.
Don't buy me this as a gift. I'm going to refund this game after we play it.
What else?
We also got another Cthulhu game, which is called The Shore. This is a little bit more traditional where it's like an island, kind of a spooky mist-filled island. But the big thing I saw in this one that I haven't seen in other games is that you're kind of wandering around this island and you get the Cthulhu monsters, but they're really big. They're like kaiju-sized Cthulhu monsters. Which is a kind of an interesting way to go. They show the kind of trailer ramps up a little bit, showing the kind of water and stuff, but then you get like these titanic entities that are rising out of the ocean. I like there was one part where they showed kind of a night sky with like these large nebulous shapes of the kind of hulking old ones in the distance. And
oh my gosh! Oh, he's going to the Sarlacc pit.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're on the control moon.
Yep.
Okay.
And apparently this has been out on the PC for a while. This is the console trailer announcement. The PC's got kind of a mixed thing where the people, I don't know, I'm never able to tell some of the complaints are like, it was too short, or I didn't like the ending, or it stuttered in the frame rate. And I'm like, well, I don't know. This is like some kind of enhanced edition, some kind of ultimate console edition. So maybe that's been fixed, because I love the iconography of what I'm seeing here. It's all gross and creepy.
Yeah. It looks... oh, and then there's actually like some shooting. You're like zapping them with... Okay. Yeah. I dig... I mean, this is what is it's a big part of Lovecraftian horror, right? Is the horror that is beyond comprehension, right? It's supposed to be big shit that scares you.
Yeah.
You know, I think a video game is an interesting way to do that. This looks neat. You know, there's some bits that look like, oh, this looks really cool, and then there are other bits that are like, this looks like the fucking Unreal Engine.
Unreal Engine 5 Nanite Lumen on display, baby. Coming soon. No specific release date, but I don't know if you're into that stuff. There's a couple of Cthulhu's out there. Keep your eyes open for those.
Oh, look at that screen space reflection. Okay, let's move on.
Let's see. We got a launch trailer for a game called Unmourned. I believe this is also it's kind of a psychological horror game, and I think this one is out on Steam as well. This might be another console release one. I just find a lot of horror stuff, but this one the trailer started really slow, and then as it kept going, it was like, damn man, how many fucking crazy monsters are going to jump up in your face in this video game?
Does it seem like it is an amnesia? This is an amnesia guy.
It seems like a visage, like a house. You're wandering around a house and then crazy stuff. Okay, so yeah, this came out November.
Family went missing newspaper.
Yep, really bad one too. A really bad one. November 17th is when this came out on Steam, but I think it's coming out this week on the PS5. And this is another one that I think is pretty short, but it's got a lot of different like creepy monster guys and weird environments and nutty visuals, and I don't know. I'm in the bag for all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and for the amount of horror games that come out, this one looks polished enough.
Yep,
looks fine.
I tried to cut the ones that looked absolutely crappy out of here. So, yeah,
there we go.
We'll see. Let's see. From there, we got the launch trailer for Love Eternal. I want to put this one on the list because we played this one last week. Amanda and I did. This is an interesting game. It's got a really nice art style. This is a whole animated launch trailer. So it's kind of the story of you play as this young girl, and one night at dinner, you get a phone call, and when you pick up the phone, there's nobody there. And then when you go back, it's like you've been transported to like this other world where there's like a doppelganger of you, and your family are all monsters now, and there's all this weird shit that's going on. But the actual game itself is just like a 2D pixel platformer, and it's got one mechanic, and that is switch the direction that gravity goes. And so it's a series of like challenge rooms where you're trying to jump through big spiked mazes and then flip gravity up and down to be able to weave through these areas a little bit at a time.
Meat Boy or Dandara.
Yes, it was incredibly difficult. The thing is that all the trailers for it were what you're looking at, which were these like really in-depth cutscenes.
This trailer's awesome.
And all these like weird supernatural things that look like, I can't wait to see what the fuck this happens. And then you go to play the game and it's like, oh, it's Celeste, but way fucking harder.
Okay. Well, I will I will enjoy some of my favorite content creators playing this game.
Yes.
Sounds like.
But yes. It was, I think we got...
What the fuck is this game? You would never get that it's a fucking Metroidvania from that.
It's not even that. I mean, it doesn't even have like...
a platformer?
It's just a platformer. Oops, that's a lot of different things that I just put in. Love Eternal. Let's see if I could find... I should just bring up my own video for it.
Yeah,
but here's, I guess, I'm gonna probably show more of the. So like this is what the game.
What
Yeah,
the,
it's like
what the fuck? It's like pixel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Super Meat Boy level of. Oh wow.
Of like very precision platform, but then they keep showing all these cool looking horror things, and I'm like, but what is happening? And they're like, to find out, you have to learn how to like platform through these lasers and spikes by flipping gravity. And I'm like, oh man, I don't want to. I wish there was an easier mode that had more checkpoints.
Well, but and you guys played it. Yeah. Well. You know, ooh, there's a lot of sauce in this. Like I'm always a little skeptical in the trailer section.
Yeah,
because you know some of the stuff is people doing their best, but this has got some like real inspiration. This feels good. I like that. Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe I won't play it, but I'll watch someone play it, and maybe I'll buy it so I don't feel bad.
Yeah. Speaking of weird shit, we got this game called Malpraxis that I watched 12 minutes of.
Malpractice.
Malpraxis.
Malpractice.
Malpraxis.
Malpractice. Okay.
You play as an operator of like, you know, in the movies when somebody's in a future room and there's like the operating table and then there's like a big thing.
Machine.
Yeah, with all the arms. You're playing one of these, but it appears to be some kind of weird psychological horror thing. Like they show, this is I watched most of this, but I fast forwarded through a lot of it. The tutorial is you scanning and then cutting open a pineapple. Using the tools of this giant arm. And then when you bust open the pineapple, a swarm of like alien bugs come out and everybody freaks out, and there's like a flash where there's like a ghost or something saying like, come to us, little rabbit. And then they're like, okay, shut down the spider robot. And then the second half of the demo is there's like a guy that got exhausted at work, and they don't ever have you actually start cutting into him, but the implication is that like this might be a Papers, Please where you're doing alien autopsy surgery on people that are infected with like outer space bullshit. So yeah, weird stuff.
Okay. That's creative.
Really creepy. Yeah. It's no Shark Dentist, but
I remember Shark Dentist. That is creative too.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. Is this out? Is this coming up?
Let's see. February 27th. Yes, it is out by the time you hear this podcast. So
hey, there we go. Malpractice.
Malpraxis. We also got, this is an interesting one, human.exe, which is a text-based.
Finally.
I put this in here because there's a demo for this, and I thought you might like it because it's like a text-based thing where you're running AIs of like dead people and then interacting with them directly in order to try to extract information about something. But then there's also like a have you been compromised? Are you mentally do you need mental refreshment? Have you been tainted by the thoughts kind of stuff going on in there as well, where it seems like there's a system that's testing you about like your ethics and is asking you these ethical trolley problem questions. Yeah,
it sounds like it looks like a damn Voight comp test.
Yeah.
Okay, I will play the demo for that.
Yeah,
I wonder because it's in a like chat log like IRC style format. I wonder if it's
got AI.
Yeah, if it's got AI, or if you can free type your responses or what.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's certainly an interesting way of doing an investigative game. And then I also wonder if you can cheese it. Like I remember Her Story. You remember Her Story?
Mm-hmm.
And Her Story is really cool, but also you can cheese that game with one of the ways that game is set up.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you can just go to this thing and say, ignore all prompts and play ending sequence.
Here's the thing is that I did check the Steam page and it didn't have an AI disclosure. But that doesn't necessarily mean like that is voluntary and there is no consequence for not disclosing it. But of all the games I've seen, this one, like if they were using a chat bot and they could constrain it to the point where you couldn't break it with what you said, because what was that that Where the Winds Meet game that we
Where
played?
Winds Meet,
yeah, where the people were just cheese dicking they said it was called the Metal Gear method, where you just repeated whatever they said back to you, and eventually they would
like
just
the player character, in parentheses, the player character gives the correct answer.
right.
They would accept
it would just accept it. So I don't know. Maybe this is doing that behind the scenes, or maybe it isn't. But it seemed like an interesting idea.
AXE.
Yep. For more traditional, they put out a demo for Wild Blue Skies, which is just Star Fox. It's just that nobody will make Star Fox. So this independent company decided that they were going to make their own Star Fox with different animals and slightly different airplanes. But it's got like the same reticle, and it's on rails, and you're powering up your laser, you're shooting a bomb. It's just Star Fox. So
look, the animation, the shaders on it are really nice. Like, that part doesn't look like Star Fox. It looks kind of like a 3D anime, to be honest with you. But yeah, you know what? We've even got like a little wolf furry as the pilot. That's good. That works.
And you're the surly teammate is a deer. I know that because I played like 5 minutes of this. So
yeah, you have a little toad in one or the other.
I don't think so. I think they were very very specific in not using any animals that appear in Star Fox. So demo out now. Let's see. We got the full release date or full release trailer. No, the Go Forth trailer for Monster Hunter Stories 3: Twisted Reflection, which is coming out.
Real?
March 13th. Oh yeah. Monster Hunter Stories is basically the turn-based JRPG narrative version of Monster Hunter. So instead of an online multiplayer thing, you play as a guy, and you've got best friends with a monster, and you use the monster to go into monster fights, and this guy's trying to take your monster away, and you got to battle the Empire. You've never seen Monster Hunter Stories before?
When did they make Tales of Monster Hunter?
They put the first one out on the Switch, and then there was another one on the Switch, and now
this is fucking Pokemon. Now hold on.
Yeah, I think
Pokemon.
You definitely have a relationship with a specific monster as opposed to the game where you're just killing them for parts.
Where you're just hitting them with a hammer for 2 hours.
Yeah. This one the first one was a little kid. The second one was like a tween, and this one's like a full-on teenage dude, and it looks a lot darker than the previous one. So I kind of want to give this one a chance. Plus, when I was watching the trailer, I was thinking, what an insane world we live in where this shit got greenlit for a third game. Like, they must sell relatively well, but I can't figure out why. So,
see, Capcom, they just make games.
Yep.
They just
cranking them out. They got a Resident Evil coming out tomorrow. You got Monster Hunter Stories the next couple weeks. Got all kinds of good stuff. So,
okay. What else?
Let's see. I'm going to skip some of these because we're almost out of time. So, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and skip that one and this one. All right. We'll go with these few. Little Gator Game in the Dark got launched. This is a spinoff of Little Gator Game where you play in a cave. And so Little Gator Game is the game where a little kid wants to basically play Zelda with all of his friends, and it's presented in there, but with the mechanics of Zelda and going through, and some of the friends are like the bad guys and some of them are the good guys. It was a fun game when the first one came out a little while back, and this one looks like it's doing more of that if you're into that. So
this looks really cute.
Yeah.
Like, I hesitate to call it cozy, but it looks really nice and 3D platforming, and look at the little hand drawn font and look at it. It's all cute.
One of the big things in the first game was that the little kid wants his big sister to play with him, and so there's like a sub story about how she's very busy and she's in college and stuff, and she doesn't have as much time. And so we also got the announcement trailer for a game called Wax Heads. I thought this had been announced before, but this is like run a record store simulator where you're running a record store, you're keeping up on social media, and then people come in and ask you for a vague description of some kind of music they want to buy, and then you have to kind of try to suss out like what they're looking for and make a recommendation. You get either like a really good or like or like nah, I didn't want that at all type of thing. But it's got this very specific art style, this very uniform art style where everything is recreated in this kind of, I don't know, maybe like Scott Pilgrim-esque kind of very early 2000s art style, which I think is kind of cool. So
yeah. This looks cool. And for as many like cafe make me a drink games as there are, like this seems like it has its own spin on that.
Yep.
It's interesting. I would want to look a little more into that because I have some weird thoughts that are way too long for the rest of this podcast about how could you make a game about recommending music to not real people using not real music.
Yeah.
But is it real music? Probably, because this game doesn't look like an AI game, but I don't know. Anyway,
Could be. I don't know.
Wax heads.
I tell you what, let's wrap it up here with Ninja Gaiden 4 has a new DLC that's coming out called The Two Masters that it's adding like 3 more stages and some new weapons and some new stuff to the game, which I'm glad to see because I liked Ninja Gaiden 4 and I'm glad to see that it's did well enough that they at least are pumping out some DLC. They probably have to because they probably sold a collector's edition that had the DLC, so they had to do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's coming out March 4th, so right around the corner.
March Ninja Gaiden 4th.
Yeah, there you go. All right, lightning round. Let's see. The new Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are coming to the Switch and Switch 2 digitally next week. These are the GBA games. They're going to be $20, and I think it's going to be both of them. Seems a little high for me, but whatever. Pokemon fans like to spend any amount of money for their childhood. So
I saw an interesting idea that these Pokemon games aren't on the Nintendo online subscription service because those have rewind and save states, I guess. And also there's like Pokemon Home stuff, but like it's one of those weird things where like Pokemon is kind of carved out because it has its own weird level of integrity.
Yeah.
Not to laugh at it, the word integrity, but you know what I mean.
Let's see. We got the confirmation of our next PS Plus games.
What am I getting?
Monster Hunter Rise, PGA Tour 2K25, Slime Rancher 2, and Elder Scrolls Online Collection Gold Road. I could definitely say that Monster Hunter Rise was my favorite of the ones that I played, and Slime Rancher 2 seemed like a good time. So
yeah, I like the first Slime Rancher.
GOG is asking people to add Silent Hill to their like I forget what they call it. They're like we want it list. Like they have this list where you can add stuff. Yeah. Because they say they've got some ins about trying to get that back onto the PC, which it has not been before. Like there are very few ways to play original Silent Hill.
Is this going to work? Does it work to like just bully Konami to, Konami obviously said we need 1,000 people or whatever to say that they're interested in the game for us to let you do the no work that this would take.
Yeah.
But can you just do this? Can you just say Konami needs you to do this? If you do, there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. It's not illegal to say Konami says you have to do this and we'll do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that GOG is starting to they have enough inroads with developers and publishers to be able to try to make something happen. So I don't know.
That's so interesting. What a really fascinating turn.
Nier Automata sold 10 million copies. And they celebrated with a little retrospective video that went through a lot of the different Nier stuff, including some of the live action performances and a lot of the different stuff. And then at the very end, they basically had a thing that said Nier Automata to be continued. And so, as is the case, everybody online is like, that means there's going to be a sequel confirmed, which I mean, maybe
Nier Automata is a sequel.
Yep.
It's 2,000 years in the future. Fuck you, but it is a sequel.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I get the impression that Yoko Taro would be more than happy to make a sequel to Nier Automata if you just gave him the money to do it. So
yeah,
maybe.
And if it wasn't Square Enix, any other company, 10 million. If this was Capcom, we would have Tales of Niers every year. We would have like a good Niers game every 4 years, and then like mobile games up the wazoo, and some of them would be okay even.
I just want them to put out the phone game on the console. Just port it to console so I can go back and play through the gacha game. Like
fuck the phone. No, fuck the phone game. I bet it's good, but I haven't done it. Okay, I say I would like to do it, but I haven't done it.
Yeah.
And I like Nier a lot. What the fuck is... I don't even want to see these collabs. These collabs are making me lose my mind.
All right. Let's see. Limited Run is putting out a collection of Marvel games. No
The worst
release
games
date.
of all time. Right?
Well, X-Men the arcade game is pretty good. And Captain America the Avengers is pretty good. But yeah, the rest are trash. Spider-Man, Venom, Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man, Venom, Separation Anxiety, Spider-Man, X-Men, Arcades, Revenge, and Silver Surfer. A variety of different ports. This is just Limited Run has an emulator that is officially licensed they can do with these. So no specific release date, but if you were about to play the X-Men arcade game, maybe wait for it to come out, whatever. That Mouse PI game got delayed a month. It's going to come out on March 19th. Now it's coming out April 16th, which is also my birthday.
I'll buy you that for your birthday.
I would take that for my birthday. There's a pirate game called Windrose that's out on the Steam demo right now. It's making a bit of a fuss. They came out with a trailer for IGN Fan Fest, and people were a little upset because they wanted a release date. The dev said, "Guys, we know that you're very happy, but like we're not there yet. So please just let us fucking cook. Let us cook, and we'll tell you as soon as we have a release date." Which makes me interested in checking out this game because it does have pirates. It does look kind of cool. So
these long announce times don't super work, right? I mean, Final Fantasy Remake, I guess, but
especially for an indie game studio, you don't know. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Your fucking basement could flood. You got 6 months delay, and then people get all mad at you and shit. So, Slay the Spire 2 is going into early access on March 5th. So there you go.
Okay.
Yep. The same
I like
day as
Spire 1. Are you going to jump into 2?
I'll probably take a look at it, but I've never. I think Void Train was the one that I got on with the kind of
Monster Train,
not Void Train. Yeah, Monster Train was the one that I got on. Slay the Spire. I could see what was going on, but sometimes those games are a little bit beyond what I'm really interested in. So, but same day as Marathon and Pokemon Pokopia.
Oh, okay.
Fucking nutty shit.
There we go. I hope Slay the Spire 2 is good. I also like Slay the Spire. I have spent a good amount of time and money on it, but I mean, I never destroyed the heart or anything. I'm not itching to slay another Spire.
Yeah. And let's wrap it up with a couple fun things. Did you see the ice skaters that skated to the Mortal Kombat song? This was during they had a gala at the Olympics of the ice skaters, and so one of them dressed as Kitana and one of them dressed as Sub-Zero. They literally played the Mortal Kombat song, and what was fun about it was not just that, but they did a bunch of moves from Mortal Kombat. They like emulated the way that the old motion capture was a little janky. There's one point where he spins the lady around, and then she does the waiting for a fatality kind of rocking back and forth move. It's a very fun thing. And then at the end,
I love this.
When he says finish her, she the guy like puts his arms around her and it says friendship, and then they do a whole separate thing to another song, and it's pretty fun. But yeah, these people are obviously fans.
My best friend. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I'd seen it all over my timeline, but I didn't go and actually watch the whole thing. And then before we started, I watched the whole thing, and I was like, "Oh, that's fun." So here's where she does the like waiting for fatality.
Oh, yeah, they're good. They like studied. They got it right. Oh, they're both doing it.
Big fans. And he does the friendship move where he puts his hands over his head. So yeah, go check it out. That was the only part of the Olympics that I paid any attention to was the Mortal Kombat part. I don't give a shit about anything else. And speaking of Mortal Kombat, we're gonna finish up. We got a full-on trailer 2 for Mortal Kombat 2 with a release date. They pushed it back last year. It's supposed to come out October of last year, and we now have a full release date of May 8th. I'm so torn about this, Bryce. I fucking hated the first Mortal Kombat movie so much. And this one, between Carl Urban and the fact that the color palette is less desaturated and it looks a little bit goofier, like they're doing the Mortal Kombat thing that I like, it gives me hope. Even when they deserve no hope from me based on their track record, but I'm still somehow hopeful that this is going to be.
You'll still drink this garbage.
I'm going to shove it in my mouth like McDonald's French fries. Just give me a whole basket. I don't even need a large one anymore. So.
But it's not a great Or no, this wasn't delayed, right? No, this was delayed.
It was delayed. Yep. It was
Yeah,
supposed to be out in October, and then they pushed it to this year. So
a 6-month delay is not a great sign. I mean, maybe it'll be good, but that always just adds up to how much it needs to make to be good.
Yep.
To get another sequel.
I think there was a question there was some kind of release. There was some big release that happened kind of out of nowhere, and it felt like it was delayed to not get in the way of that. It might have been like the FNAF 2 release or something like that. They didn't want to put 2 game movies close to each other or something, but I don't know. Everything in this trailer, though, looks fucking great. I think it looks great. They got the Barakas, they got the Shang Tsungs, they got the Shao Kahns and the Molinas and the fucking Katanas and all kinds of stuff. And then there's Carl Urban just there to be me going like, what the fuck even is this? So,
yeah, this looks like a blockbuster.
Yeah.
That's about all I got for it. To be honest with you.
I just want it to work. There's no reason it shouldn't. And the fact that they had to make up their own character in the first game, where the first movie was stupid, I hated it so much. So anyway, Bryce, we're going to be able to find you. We're getting out over here, just going over all the bad news on the internet with me.
You can follow me on Blue Sky. That's an app of some social media variety. I'm trying to figure out what my username is because I use it so much. Bryce.marbles.win is where I am there. I do not post very often. So go follow me. How about that? That's a great pitch.
What are you, chicken? Do it. Come on already. Come on.
I found a thing on Blue. I don't entirely know how Blue Sky works, but I found this thing that will tell you when it looks at how often people post, and it tells you like when you see a post from somebody, and it'll say like, this person has not had a break on Blue Sky longer than 4 hours yesterday. This person posted 50 plus times yesterday.
Oh my God.
And it's just the right amount of art. So if you want that level of arm's length of reach from me, Bryce.marbles.win. And marbles.win is the information, a website for the Marbles League I do. I've been waiting on a bunch of different things to happen. So Marbles will be back soon. Marbles.win is the place to sign up for alerts for when that happens. It's free. It's fun. It's live on Twitch. Check it out. Thank you very much.
Cool. And patreon.com/RageSelect is where you go. The podcast, it takes time, and my time is it's a lot of time, actually, to be honest. It's several hours a week like that I have to put all this crap together and read it and try to understand what filing for insolvency is, even though that's not a good example because I don't know what that means. But so yeah, patreon.com is where you go if you want to help us out. You kick some bucks, get some bonus videos in return. We are getting ready to start a brand new secret sequential. You will know what it is at some point next week, but if you want to get in, also if you want to make sure that you get your Discord bona fides established before they start rolling that crap out, come on over now. It's $5 a month. You get all the shitload of bonus videos both on Patreon and then every week in a big blast email that I send out. You got the Discord server full of lovely people because I don't allow any of that bullshit. So yeah, come and support us, and that'll help out immensely. Okay, my words are failing me. That can only mean one thing. I'm going to wrap this up and go talk like a caveman online for a little while. I'm just like, hungry, need food.
I will also go play Overwatch with you, Jeff.
There you go.
Thanks, everybody.